story this will be. 5:52 left in the fourth. 38-3.
Why was everyone able to be so productive tonight?
2nd and 9 now. This one's picked. Intercepted by the Bucs. It's Murphy bunting down the sideline. He is going to be marked. From the 3, Brady throws, pass caught, Evans touchdown. Tampa Bay on top as he works against Marshawn Lattimore.
Bodies him up. I mean, you're talking about Mike Evans, the size that he has at 6'5". He's able to get inside, use his body like you would in basketball. Brady just tries to stick it on him and let him shield Lattimore off of him.
Eat him! Third down and 2. Quick throw, Cook makes the catch, first down, ball's out, and into the arms of Devin White. It's a takeaway by this defense. Good protection again, pass caught, touchdown Fournette. Second down and 8. Brady off the bench with a big game today. Third down and 7. Brady with play action. Makes it 3rd and 11 now. A rare Scotty Miller sighting. And that's who Brady.
The facility. What are you guys being fed up there to be able to shut down the GOAT Tom Brady like that twice?
Well, you say GOAT, like one of the GOATs. He's probably number 2 on the list behind, the quarterback who has 80,000 yards, 80,000 passing yards. But I mean, there's probably another quarterback like there.
Makes it 3rd and 11 now. The throw is what a catch! A rare Scotty Miller sighting. And that's who Brady goes to, and he's got him. Michael Thomas, you see the total yards in the game, 2nd and 8. Brees throws, and he's picked by Devin White. Another turnover, and White picks his way down the sideline. Brady's going to take it. Touchdown.
Get somebody down the middle or up the sideline.
Brees able to step into this one. This one's up for grabs and picked.
Evolution. Sports Talk Television live here nightly. All Bucs report. It's the Sports Lab. I'm your host, Jimmy Wood, giving you something to think about on tonight's show. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition, your Friday night edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. We got a visitor, it looks like. We got Bernie Sanders in the building right there, sitting right next to me. And as always, how do we start off the Sports Web on this Friday night? Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Once again, I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. On tonight's show, we'll have ABC Action News' Mr. Dennis Phillips on with us, getting the weather forecast of what's going on at Lambeau Field, the latest there. We'll also talk about the injury situation having to do with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with my professional handicapper, Mr. Harry the Greek, Mr. 88%, going up to 89, 90. And then, of course, your phone calls getting you ready only 2 days away from Bucs versus the Packers, the NFC Championship game. And we'll get you started at 12:30 live from the Deck Bar and Grill in Isla del Sol for your pre. Of course, we'll have your half and post-game editions. But once again, open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. I tell you what, let's lead off on the phone lines. Let's go out to Mr. Gene Thomas of Buck What You Heard, which he did a show tonight. Does it here on Bucs Report. Welcome. What's going on, buddy? You ready for this game on Sunday? Bucs versus the Packers. Your thoughts?
Man, this has been a long time coming, Peter. I mean, me and you have struggled through all the lean years, man, and it's so exciting to be able to be at this point to where this team could be potentially making their way to Tampa for a Super Bowl visit. But I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I'm just saying, this is what it could be.
Well, on this show, we definitely love to jump ahead. And as I was told by some webheads today that are acting like trolls, well, the Super Bowl or bust thing, that's not what Bruce Arians said. Basically, what Bruce Arians said there, Matt Coulson and Ben Cornett. By the way, nice selfie there, Ben Cornett, with the penguin picture that definitely that satisfies your look, my friend. Bruce Arians basically said, look, if we're looking forward to the Super Bowl or looking ahead, we will be packing our bags. So this team is definitely focused. But once again, going back to it, when you get a Tom Brady, you get a Rob Gronkowski, it's Super Bowl or bust. That's been my point. Bust, again, does not mean, ladies and gentlemen, that you tear up the team if you don't win on Sunday. But, of course, you have one game to go. You're in Super Bowl 55 in your own house. You have the best quarterback in postseason play with the Tom Brady. So you're in a perfect situation, but you have some injuries to deal with. Let me go out to you really quick here, and we're on with Gene Thomas leading off the Sports Web. Antonio Brown missing the game. Are you surprised by that? In your opinion, can a Scotty Miller and a Tyler Johnson step into that role that Brown was playing?
Well, they have to step up, man. I mean, it's not can they, it's they have to. If
Right.
This team is going to advance, these guys are going to have to show up, and they're going to have to show out. This is a motivated Green Bay Packers team. They were humiliated last year. I think it was 37-20. And they had a chance to go to the Super Bowl, and they blew their chance. You're looking at a team that's focused. Aaron Rodgers looking over his shoulder with a new quarterback that was just drafted. So a lot of motivation for the Green Bay Packers, and the Bucs have to be focused. I think with the level of talent that the Bucs have, you're playing with house money. All they have to do is go out and play and do what they're supposed to do. And I do believe that they have the talent to beat this team again.
Well, the great news here, and again, we're on with Gene Thomas of Buck What You Heard. When do you do your shows here on Bucs Report, my friend?
Wednesday and Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern.
There you go. So Wednesday and Fridays, he has the Tampa Bay, BAE Sports, Tampa Sports Bay on with him tonight, I believe, right? You had her on tonight?
Yeah, I had her on tonight, yeah.
What is she thinking about this matchup versus the Packers?
She's excited. Again, we're all, still coming down from that high of beating the New Orleans Saints, a team that has had the Bucs number over the past couple of years, and the humiliating loss at Raymond James Stadium. It really feels good to send their quarterback into retirement, and it's a good feeling, and it's taken a little bit longer to get adjusted because we do have this other game coming up.
Sure,
and we want to be ready for that.
Yeah, you absolutely want to be ready for that. Some good news that came off the injury front, a big time injury development, if you will. Vita Vea coming back. He has been activated. He will play on Sunday. How much of an impact is he going to be on that defensive line against the Packers on Sunday and Aaron Rodgers?
You know what? I know he's been in the league for a couple of years now. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do. It's different being in football shape. We saw that with Gronk. We saw that with Antonio Brown, and we saw that with Vita Vea after his last injury. It took him a little bit to get up to speed, but I do expect him to be helpful in the running game, especially. His presence has been sorely missed. I know the Bucs have won 11 games, but just imagine what a difference maker he can be against the run, and you're going to really need somebody like that against this Green Bay team.
No, you're absolutely right. So what are your keys to this game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to get the victory and go to Super Bowl 55 at Raymond James Stadium?
Well, we saw a sample size of that in the regular season when the Bucs played Green Bay to begin with, and you got to get pressure on Aaron Rodgers. We saw what Aaron Rodgers looks like when he's flustered, when he's flushed out of the pocket, when he's hit, when he's knocked down, and he threw some picks. He wasn't the Aaron Rodgers that we saw the rest of the season. And again, it's going to be up to the secondary to play like that again. And it's real simple. Take care of your business. Do your job. Take care of your assignment. And everything should work out. The defense has to get back to trusting each other. And they should be just fine, I think.
Now, another injury development. It could be an injury development. You have Antoine Winfield. He's questionable. So we'll see if he plays on Sunday, but Mike Edwards filling that role. To me, that's a major loss if Winfield doesn't play in this game. Yes. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's crazy. When you look at him, he is a rookie, but he plays like a veteran.
Yeah.
And the plays that he's made on the field this year have been instrumental in the Bucs winning some of these games. Punching the ball out against the New Orleans Saints and
huge play,
causing a turnover. Just some of his instinctive plays that he's made away from the football that you don't see on camera, things you can't put statistics to. He's been very consistent in doing that. I know he has made rookie mistakes, but he will be sorely missed if he's unable to go. I know he's questionable right now. Let's hope that he is able to go. If not, it's the next man up.
Going back to the Saints game, did you like that game plan? Because to me, that's the perfect game plan, especially with the cold weather and possibly snow. They run the ball 35 times for 127 clip. You have Fournette and Ronald Jones. Jones was full participant today in practice, so they're definitely getting him back here. Both of those guys mixing it around. Is that the game plan, in your opinion, that they have to basically try to exercise versus this susceptible Packer defense, especially versus the run?
Absolutely. This is the Ronald Jones and especially Leonard Fournette. This is what we expected to see from Leonard Fournette when he came to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to begin with.
Yeah.
And I think what we're seeing from him, he's elevating his game. I think that Ronald Jones is getting healthy at the right time. If that holding penalty, that phantom holding penalty doesn't happen, Ronald Jones gets a 45-yard run. I think that they're poised to really do something against this Green Bay defense, or they definitely can.
Yeah, what's another big key for you in this game versus the Packers on Sunday?
Find ways to win. The one thing that the Bucs have done all season is found a way to win games. We haven't seen this from this team. I would say going back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They just have not consistently found a way to win games at the end and close games out. But we've gotten to see that. And please, no penalties or no self-inflicted injuries for this team that will cause them to, get behind. And that's where the Bucs have lost games, like against the Rams. The Rams, the Bears, and the Chiefs were a bunch of self-inflicted penalties and just, things that they didn't do well, miscues. And they just have to make sure that they're on point against this Green Bay team.
Yeah, and you go back to that big-time Saints win. Doesn't it mostly kind of remind you of what the Bucs did against the Philadelphia Eagles, where so many years they weren't able to get over the top, and then finally they did? So basically, it was a foregone conclusion that they would take care of business at the end of the day. Is that the sense for you that you believe that's going to carry them through to win the Super Bowl eventually this year?
Yes, as long as they're doing their job and taking care of business, I do believe that they could go in there and win that. It would be so incredible to be that first team to actually host the Super Bowl. It's been that elusive thing that you never hear about, or it's never happened, and it would be so incredible if it was Tampa that was able to do that.
All right, there you go. That's Gene Thomas of Buck What You Heard. Once again, promote your show, and then after that, give me a prediction, you jabroni, on this Bucs-Packers game and the NFC Championship game. I had to do it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, please, if you get a chance, check us out on Wednesday at 7 p.m. and Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Buck What You Heard. I am on Twitter. You follow me, I'll follow you back at Buck What You Heard. And I don't want to jinx this team, and I think I've done good the past 6 weeks that I haven't given a prediction. So don't want to jinx this team, but I think that if the Bucs come in and they're focused, they will win this game.
All right, kind of like March Madness, where you're doing so well in the March Madness bracket. Oh yeah, that's the reason why you didn't play the bracket. Good stuff there. Let me go ahead and give you this right here, right there, and let me go ahead and fire those cannons. All right, my friend Gene Thomas, thanks a lot for you here, joining me and for your time on the Sports Web, and as always, being a great friend. A part of the Bucs Report Network. All right, boss?
All right, brother. Take it easy.
All right. Appreciate you. There you go. Gene Thomas of Buck What You Heard. Again, Wednesday and Fridays at 7 o'clock here live on Bucs Report. So open phone line, 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. Expecting Dennis Phillips anytime now from ABC Action News. If not, we'll take your phone calls. We'll talk to each other. But Bucs fans, what are you thinking? What are you thinking about the injury situation? Are you a little bit worried about Antonio Brown missing this game? Scotty Miller, Tyler Johnson, does Scotty know? We shall see on Sunday versus the Packers. How about Vita Vea coming back? Possibly Antoine Winfield missing the game. What are your thoughts about this defense facing Aaron Rodgers? What are your thoughts about Tom Brady facing this Packers defense? Can they get it done on Sunday at 3 o'clock? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let me go back out to that. Hold on a sec here. We'll get out to you. Lawrence, I guess he's speechless there. Brenda says, let's do this. Roger says, Tampa. Absolutely. Stunning says, I've seen too many people on Twitter and YouTube saying the Packers will win. What do they know? These were the same people that we're talking about the Bucs losing to the Saints, because during the regular season, the Bucs lost to the Saints twice. So what do they know? Not much. That's what you think. Roger Shoe, go Pack, go, barbecue baby, and that's what I think about that. Right there, Mr. Troll from Newport Richie. Yep, just like the Saints last week. Solomon is laughing. Frederick says, I love this. Don't you love that intro? Good stuff by Liam Mitchell of the Bucs Archive. Definitely subscribe to that channel on YouTube. And of course, as my friend would remind me off the air, if you're watching the show right now, share it somewhere. Share it on your wall. Share, like, and definitely subscribe to Bucs Report, not only on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and of course that Bucs Report Twitch channel, which needs more views in itself. LFG says, Roger, at Roger Shoe, the Pack are going down. Now, I like that right there. I really like that. Ben Parrish says, we dat. Yes, that is Bernie Sanders there in the picture. LFG says, Christopher Cole. Stunning says, shave the beard and rename the Sports Web the Spider Web. That actually is funny, but it actually used to be the Spider's Web when it first started, and I changed it to the Sports Web. No, I'm not shaving the beard unless I want to. Stunning. Thank you. The Bernie memes have been amazing so far. Laugh my ass off. Tampa Bay all day tomorrow. Absolutely. Let me go ahead and fire those cannons for you. Let's go out to Jamie Hudson. I think Tyler and Scotty are going to make the difference in the game. I mean, that's the big time thing. Antonio Brown missing this game. Is there any worry? I mean, I'm disappointed that he's not going to play, but obviously the knee injury is just a little bit more serious than originally thought. So he's going to be out of this game. We've seen Scotty Miller step up versus the Saints with that 29-yard catch. You're going to need more of that. Miller has more speed, if you will, than Brown. He's a zone buster, so maybe you go deep down the field. You have Brady, who likes to go down the field on those 20-yard passes. It definitely favors Scotty Miller. And what can you say about Tyler Johnson? When he's been thrown in those situations to make plays, he's been able to make it with a phenomenal catch versus the Saints last Sunday. So can he do it again? Why would you doubt the kid? He's done it throughout his short career here with the Bucs. He did it at Minnesota, making amazing catches. I'm not going to sit here and say he can't do it again versus the Packers in a big-time situation. He's used to it. So I like that comment. Frederick says, we're good, y'all. Let AB relax because Brady seems to distribute the ball better with AB off the field. We still got Brake, Gronk, Miller, Johnson, Evans, Godwin, Fournette, and probably more. You're exactly right. Good stuff there. True, says Solomon. Eric Scott says, here we go. I'm going to say it one more time. Tom Brady is the GOAT because no one hates losing more than that man, and that's what makes him the greatest. Let me go ahead and fire this cannon. And speaking of the greatest right there, that's Ric Flair right there, the greatest of all time if you're a wrestling fan. And Vita Vea is back too. Let's go out to Todd. Huge Vita coming back. I mean, what's the impact of that, of Vita Vea? Because, you know, we got Brian Pearson who's trolling on YouTube. It says, ha, 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 you're going to miss a wide receiver. Well, we got a tractor instead. So, actually, not a tractor. We got a bulldozer. That's what he meant. That's what the comment was. Back to him. Go Pack, go. Go pack your stuff until next July. Your season ends Sunday. We are the Better Bay before a handful of Elmer Fudd-looking cheese eaters. I like that right there. Ozzy the Sports Junkie, Mr. Sean, definitely call in if you like. I hope you win Green Bay. Well, you know what? Here we go. But, you know, Brian, I love the fact that you keep on tuning into this show because definitely you're becoming the number one troll over a Roger Shoe. So both of you guys can troll together. Sean says, but hey, you got all these fat chicks to comfort you all in the frozen winter. We good, y'all. I don't know if I necessarily like the y'all, but that's okay. You're using it in a term where it's not necessarily condescending, if you will, because I've always talked about the y'all rule. When some people use it on Facebook, it's y'all did this, y'all should have did that, you all think you're smart. And it sounds condescending to me, but in this case, I'll allow it. There you go. So, good stuff, Frederick. Stunton says, Sean Mate, I don't know who you think you are, but glad we live rent-free in your head so much enough. You look up Buccaneers on YouTube to come here. I think that Sean is the Bucs fan. That's Ozzy the Sports Junkie. Brian is the guy that you want to talk about. Saints Nation, baby, says you can. Let's see. Frederick says once he curses someone out there in the sidelines, pray he comes out and it's like Mortal Kombat with the finish him. Love that, right? Flawless victory. Flawless victory. There you go. Fatality. Who doesn't like Mortal Kombat? Good stuff. Barbecue, 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 barbecue. And this is what you get for that. UCAN says 35-30 over the Bucs. I wonder what UCAN your final score was with the Saints versus the Bucs. Was it the same thing? Because that didn't necessarily work out for you. Sean says, I looked up the beatdown we laid on your pack. I watched with Bucs Report from the deck in sunny Florida. How's the weather in Kenosha and Sheboygan? Yeah, does everybody forget that? Do the Packer fans forget that? I know it was way back when, but it was 38-10. Remember, 10-0. Aaron Rodgers was doing his little dance, and then he got a hit by Antoine Winfield, and he wasn't the same after that. You know why? 5 times this Bucs defense got after him. 2 interceptions, including a Jamel Dean interception to the house. Did you Packer fans forget that? We didn't here on Bucs Report. We remind you, we'll refresh your memory. Again, 727-255-0391 at 727-255-0391. Stunning says, oh, wait, Sean, you're a Bucs fan. He is a Bucs fan. Absolutely. Stunning says, I thought you were a Packers fan. Oh, my bad. Laughed my ass off. Myrna says, let's melt those cheese heads. Sean says, and again, that's Ozzy the Sports Junkie, who, once again, get on here. You're a part of Bucs Report. Call in if you have something to say. Too late. The Scud was already launched. Myrna says, we are not scared. Go Bucs. UCAN says, are you coming to my Bucs barbecue hood party? I didn't know I was invited. I don't even know what that's all about. But if you want to come to a Bucs party, go to the Deck Bar and Grill in Isla del Sol for your Bucs watching parties there will have your pre-half and post-game editions of the Sports Web, the evolution of sports talk television. So Bucs fans, if you want to come out, Packer fans, Saints fans, I don't care if you're a troll, come on out, watch the Bucs beat the Packers on Sunday starting at 3 o'clock. All right, I think if we go into the right set of mind, and play our style of football with us being physical with Green Bay Packers, just like we did with the Saints, we will come out with the dub. But we need to put pressure on Rodgers. I like it. There we go. Good stuff. Let's see here. Let's go out to Roger Shoe. I'll put up $100 against your beard. Go, Pack, go. And you will lose that $100, my friend, because you didn't think this out. You didn't think it out, did you? You did not think that out. So I'll take your bet. Edward says Bucs will kick butt on Sunday. Alberto says turnovers will be key, 31-28 with a suck-up 50-ish yard kick at the end. Go Bucs. James says, what up, bro? I'm here to support the number one team in the playoffs. Go Bucs. Absolutely. And we'll do that. Woo! Yes, right there. James says, again, bro, I told you on my J-Dog account, we're going to the Super Bowl. Fire them cannons 7 more times for me. 7. Right there, 7 rings. So we'll go ahead and do that. 1. All right, 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And how about this to match it? Woo! All right, there you go, James. You're happy now. Hopefully you are. What other sports talk show has, and let me get rid of this, has Bernie Sanders in the background sitting around? What's going on, Bernie? Bernie is just chilling right now. It's like weekend at Bernie's at the PHB studios. You got to love that. You got to love it. All right, let's go out to Ozzy, the sports junkie. Ozzy, welcome to the evolution. Bucs versus the Packers. Of course, the last time we hung out together, it was kind of a good luck charm. So I kind of feel like you should come out again at the Deck Bar and Grill to grace us with your presence.
Nothing more.
Mm-hmm.
My schedule's booked. The Sarasota edition, or chapter, I should say, of Buccaneers Central and Bucs Report fans down in Sarasota. So I got to stay with my homies down here. I'd love to. I'm hoping that maybe we have a little tete-a-tete, a little get-together. And, Tampa's going to be they might not have a lot of fans in the stand Super Bowl Sunday, but there's going to be a hell lot of people outside that stadium. I don't know what the regulations and rules would be, but if it is our pewter faithful, Katie bar the door. There's going to be 200,000 people outside the stadium. And you know something? I knew that Brady coming here. I knew that the Glazers are all in, and I never ever want to hear that the Glazers are cheap and they're just going to grab a buck. They did everything possible to make this happen this year. And let's face it, there were some down times. The Bear beat down where they were up 11-0, and then they just gave up in that game. The 38-0 game against the Saints. I'll tell you, last Sunday, Pete, and I apologize. I tried to get on your pregame. My ham radio phone at the time, it just did not allocate it. And he went to the kicker. I was sitting in the sports junkie den with former heavyweight champion of the world, China Smith, who lives right here in Sarasota.
Very nice.
And China was all ready to just spew some nonsense. And he said, Ozzy, your phone sucks. I got to leave. I can't be embarrassed by you anymore. But I tell you what, you know the key. I called it online. I called it on several different outlets. I said, this is time for the secondary. They got to show they're an NFC title game worthy. And boy, oh boy, did they ever.
Yeah.
Devin White, it's early, Pete. You could make a case. That was he's had an unbelievable season. That game was one of those signature games for him. He's faster, and I wasn't a big Jason Light has completely shown me that he's one of the top general managers in the NFL. Sure, he missed on Winston, and sure, the Aguayo snafu. But other than that, he's got nothing but 5-star studs. He put the whole offensive line together, the whole defensive line together.
Yeah.
The secondary showed up, and when you run the ball, especially with the double-headed threat of Rojo and Fournette, it's Brady time to just sit back there and cherry pick. And it was a little tight towards the stretch, but what do you think about Devin White with that pick? And he didn't give a stiff arm, Pete. How about a forearm shiv to that poor SOB on the Saints who thought he could come up on him? He about blasted his neck in half. That kid's something. Winfield out of Minnesota has just gotten better every week.
Right.
So they got to come hard on Sunday because Drew Brees he'll turn the ball over a little. Aaron Rodgers doesn't. I think the game that I did with you up there, he had 4 turnovers, and I think it might have been only the second time in his career he's turned the ball over 4 times. So it's going to be nip and tuck, but we have more talent. There's no question about it. Vita Vea, we'll see what he's got. It's got better than what half speed Vita Vea may be better than a lot of guys at full speed. I know he takes up 2 men and 2 men on Sue, and that's how Shaq Barrett led the league in sacks last year. We got to get to Rodgers, and we got to fluster him.
Yeah, no, I agree. And he had 5 sacks in that first matchup, and he had a pick 6 to Jamel Dean, had another interception to Mike Edwards. But you go back to Devin White, I mean, 140 tackles, 9 sacks for the year, no all-pro status, no Pro Bowl, which is completely ridiculous. There should be an investigation. You look at how he played, and, to me, the game plan has to be on these linebackers, namely a White and, of course, a Levante David. And that Levante David, all the years that he's played with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he wants it just as much as probably Mike Evans on that offensive side of the ball, right?
Oh, absolutely. And this is what Mike Evans played for. You remember the first quote, I think, from any player when they signed Brady was Mike Evans saying, "Hey, I got a chance to play in the postseason now." Yeah. And sure he plays. And there was a lot of criticism there that Brady and Evans weren't on the same page. From go down the stretch, they sure as hell were. Yeah. This team, I said they had to win the last 4, and they did. Yeah, they did. Squeaked by a Washington team, which was very, very concerning. When you let a guy like Heineke or Chris, I don't even remember who he was.
Heineke, Tyler Heineke. Yes.
Tonight's the night for Heineke. Or Lowenbrow. How many guys have made career huge money off one game based on the Buccaneers? Case Keenum had a career based on one game. Yes. Nick Folk, it was big. Well, whatever, Nick. A couple games against the Bucs got him a huge contract.
Nick Foles.
Need I mention Trubisky had 7 touchdowns, which put him in Jim McMahon status in Chicago. We've made nobodies very rich. Kirk Cousins, you like that? They don't like you in Minnesota now, Kirk. So we do that to people, and that was very, very scary going into the New Orleans games. But I told you, and I told everybody, you cannot beat this team, and you cannot beat Tom Brady 3 times. And it wasn't all Brady. I put the Stargell Star, 70s reference there.
Very good.
Stargell Star goes to the defense, man. And the defensive secondary stepped up, and it's not going to be all them. I think they got to get the front 4 got to get to, or the front 3, I should. They got to get to Aaron Rodgers, and Brady will have to be Brady. And look for, like I heard you talk about Tyler Johnson. He'll have to come up and step up for Antonio Brown. What did Brown do? I don't remember him hurting his knee this bad, and then he didn't even play last week. Did he hurt the knee last week, or was it a link?
Yeah, he hurt the knee last week, and he wasn't on the field. We're on with Ozzy the Sports Junkie, the Ozzy the Sports Junkie Network here, of course, he's a part of Bucs Report. Definitely going to get him on here more and more. Maybe we'll send him a link on Sunday where he's out at Sarasota. And,
you better believe it, buddy. We got any big plans for, come hell or high water, I'm going to be up there, and I'll be doing some Super Bowl broadcast. Even if our beloved aren't in there, but of course it'll be a little tempered heart. But it is a Super Bowl. It is in Tampa. Do you have any word, Pete? I'm trying to get some information as far as, do they have a game plan in place for how many people they're going to let into that stadium?
I'm not sure yet. I've heard some varying things that we'll have to see, but I think the last check was like 25,000 or something like that, which is
wouldn't be bad.
Which is disappointing. Well, from right, and I get it, the sign of the times, everything going on with the pandemic, you want things to be back to normal again. But 25,000 is a lot better than no fans at all, because I feel like if I had to see a game again in sports and there was no fans, I was going to freaking lose my mind. I definitely need fans.
You won't mind it Sunday in Lambeau.
No,
that didn't play a huge factor there in the Superdome, because I've been in there for Bucs Saints games, and it is a spit show, as they like to say. I've never seen a stadium that holds, I think it's maybe 65, maybe 70. Yeah. It's like 170. Something about that stadium, it's very steep, and it is very loud. And don't tell me that doesn't play a huge part in a football game like that. Any game, especially a postseason. Now, Lambeau, you'll have nothing but a nice backdrop for these receivers. I think there's no way it doesn't benefit the Buccaneers to not have 70,000 people screaming every name in the book at them.
Are you concerned with them going up there to Lambeau with the cold weather conditions, or because they have Brady and the leadership qualities, and of course this coach seems like he has this team locked in? they shouldn't even worry about the cold. Are you concerned about those cold weather conditions affecting this offense and namely this defense?
Especially with a lot of guys on this team from the Southeast, SEC country, and they don't see that a lot. But you also got to get a lot of 25-year-old guys who they drive around Tampa every day and they see all the Super Bowl signage. Even though Arian said, don't look at the signs, and I couldn't agree with him more.
Right.
They know they're sitting on the cusp of something really special here. And Pete, I don't want to jinx anything, but if the inevitable was to happen, boy, the GOAT status would go up tenfold. Everyone says he's done. Maybe he limps into Tampa and Joe Namath is way out of the league to not only win 6 and take a Patriot franchise that was just garbage before he got there. And Belichick has just as much to do with it. Maybe not, but the two of them won 6 Super Bowls. But to come to Tampa Bay in year one, and let's face it, you and I talked, at times they did not look good. As I said earlier, there was a question if they're going to make the postseason for a while there.
Yeah.
So they hit the stride when they needed to. And we play in a league now, or we cover a league now that it seems to be the hottest team at the end of the year wins it. Now, last year the Chiefs were the best team in football. I don't think there's, of the teams remaining, has there been a team that's been head and shoulders better than anybody else? Maybe Buffalo down the stretch, but the Bucs are just as hot as Buffalo.
No, I agree, and so are the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers have been hot down the stretch, and that's the concern.
Chiefs are the same team they were last year. I'm not as impressed as I was with them last season.
Sure.
And that game, if you recall, that one went down to the wire with the Bucs. It was within reach in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
so we're sitting on something special here, dude. And I just, even if it does end Sunday, it's a hell of a season. That's a hell of a year for Tom Brady, for Bruce Arians, and if it's one more to go, that I'll take it. But I'd definitely rather take another home game, buddy.
Absolutely. I agree with you. What's the key to your game? And we got to run. We got Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News. We're going to get him. And
I don't want to I'd hate to hold up the weather guy in those suspenders.
Well, I tell you what, he is phenomenal. And, he's a weather. He may be a meteorologist, but to me, he should be a sports broadcaster the way he talks sports here on the sports web. And, of course, everybody wants to know the weather forecast in Lambeau. So what's one of your keys to this game? And what's a standout player offensively and defensively, in your opinion, versus the Packers?
I think the key to the game is the Buccaneers got to keep the intensity. The defensive front, the pass rush on Aaron Rodgers. And even the offensive line last week was intense. You saw like Ryan Jensen just laying guys out after the play.
I love the attitude. Love it. Yeah, absolutely love that attitude.
They were sick and tired of Sean Payton and those punks from New Orleans. How sweet was that?
Beautiful.
So that's my first key to the game is just keep the intensity high. I think like you said earlier, I heard you say about Tyler Johnson and Scotty Miller, one of those guys is going to have to step up, make a big play, which doesn't seem to be a problem with them. That catch last week, Aikman said it was one of the greatest catches he's ever seen against his body. Ridiculous. And they got to run the ball. They've got to run the ball, because if you don't run the ball, then it's too many passes from Brady, and that hasn't spelled success. So if you get a nice combo of Rojo and Fournette, which, boy, they were good last week, that's your key to the game. And just pace yourself. I'm glad it's at 3:00 because I couldn't take the pressure leading up to 6:00. That way, we'll all be celebrating and about 3 sheets to the wind by halftime of the second game. And who cares who they play at that point?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think a lot of people are going to be watching Buffalo and Kansas City. So we'll see what happens in that matchup. Of course, Patrick Mahomes cleared today, so he's going to play. Although who knows how well he'll play, but Mahomes is one of the top quarterbacks in the league, so Buffalo's a hot team. Good stuff, Ozzy, the sports junkie. Definitely don't be a stranger. Pleasure, absolutely, my friend. Don't be a stranger here.
Man in Tampa Bay. Leo Haggerty sends a hello. I had Leo down here for a remote the other day and last weekend.
And,
Leo's in prime form. He's looking very svelte, and he's retired. He's retired from his day job, but he's crushing it. He's everywhere you want to be, like Visa.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, and definitely got to have him on the show and have him back on the sports web, because I miss that guy. Good stuff, man. Let me go ahead and fire those cannons for you right there, and let me give you a whoop right there. Ozzy, the sports junkie, thanks a lot for coming on the Evolution. All right,
you're the best, Pete. You're the best.
I appreciate you, brother. You're the best. All right, there you go, Ozzy, the sports junkie here on from the Ozzy the Sports Junkie Network. We'll get Dennis Phillips on here. Let me read these comments really quick, and then we'll get out to him. Again, the victim of volume, fire those cannons. The victim of volume, Absolutely. UCAN says you're invited, bro. Appreciate that. Mirna says there is reason why we beat the Cheeseheads with 38 unanswered points. Sue will out Rodgers on his back or put him on his back just like the last time. Roger Sue says, so if you lose, you were shaved the beard. I can't wait, but the Bucs are not going to lose. You the man. Keep up the good reports. Appreciate you there. James Eric says, love how Pete went through with 7 cannons. That's the motto for this run. 7 cannons. James says, yeah, he's done it for me. We beat the Saints, beat them. Run the ball, run the hell out of the ball, and let our defense tee off on Rodgers. James says 22,000 will be there. James, again, a little over 7K will be frontline workers, which, by the way, they have been vaccinated, so that's a good thing for them. Once they get on the field and they start playing, they should be fine. Lots of warms on the sideline as well. Let's go, Bucs. And James, again, this ain't no regular season game. This is a game to get you to the Super Bowl. Them boys are going to be so hyped up. Cold is going to be no factor. So speaking of cold, he's never cold. He's always hot when he comes on the Sports Web. Mr. Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News, the guy that we want to talk about because, of course, the weather situation in Lambeau. What's the latest? Welcome to the evolution.
Hey, how goes it?
It goes good. I mean, we're only 2 days away from Bucs versus the Packers in the NFC Championship game. And I tell you what, before you get out to that forecast for Lambeau, what were your thoughts on that big-time win versus the Saints? Were you surprised by that? Because at some points in that game, the Bucs really dominated, especially defensively.
Yeah, if you remember last week, I predicted 31-28 Bucs. I was as confident of a Bucs victory, and we talked about this. Forget the X's and O's, everything else. It's just incredibly difficult to beat a team 3 times in a row in the NFL in the same season. And I say that because pretty much every one of my predictions was wrong outside of the win. I really thought Michael Thomas was going to have a solid game. He had no receptions. I really thought that either A.J. Brown or Chris Godwin were going to step it up. Neither one did. I guess everybody pretty much knew that Lattimore was probably going to shut down Evans. I mean, he got a touchdown. It was his only reception, but he did get a touchdown. But outside of that, I never expected the defense to win that game for them. And they did. I mean, Brady didn't even throw for 200 yards. I mean, he had an average day. They didn't need him because the running game was doing well, and the defense kept putting them in positions to score. And I never saw that coming. If you'd asked me after 6 weeks of the season, yeah, but not the way the team had played the last 6 weeks. No way.
Yeah, I mean, Dennis, you're exactly right. Not the best game offensively, but game plan wise, you look at it, 33 throws, 35 runs. Do you feel like that has to be the game plan going against the Packers? And can this Bucs offense do that versus this defense of the Packers, in your opinion?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because if you look at the numbers, the defenses over for the entire season, the Packers started out really poorly against the run and have been doing a little bit better over the last 4 weeks. And the Bucs kind of vice versa. The Bucs started nails. Well, they're still the number 1 rushing defense in the NFL, but they started out pretty much impossible to run against. And in the last 3 or 4 weeks, there have been some guys who did well. I mean, Kamara did well. I mean, ran well against him, didn't get the opportunities maybe that he needed. But, you wonder for the Bucs to win in this game. And by the way, talking about the weather, it's kind of a moot point because there's heaters in that field. It isn't like they're going to be playing on the kind of game where they're going to have to be running out there and snow shoveling snow off of the field. It's going to be snowing Saturday night. It's going to be snowing Sunday morning. I think the snow will taper off by mid-afternoon. So probably around kickoff, you're going to be seeing maybe some flurries, but I doubt there's any kind of accumulating snow. But again, if it isn't on the field, who really cares? Might it be a little slick? Maybe. Temperatures in the upper 20s, cold, but I don't know. You look at that stat from many, many moons ago, and I know you've lived here as long as I have, where the Bucs never won under 40 degrees. That ended years ago. And when some of the main big names for the Bucs are used to playing in cold weather, I'm not so sure the cold is going to. I mean, and not to mention, look at people on the Packers, MVS. He's a USF guy. He's a local guy. So for him, it's certainly not going to be very easy to be playing in that kind of cold either. I don't think the weather is going to have as big of an impact as a lot of folks think, because I don't think wind is going to be the biggest issue. And I think we all know wind is the one thing that can make it really difficult to throw the ball with 2 teams that like to throw the ball.
And speaking of impacts, you talk about the running game or the run defense, if you will, kind of struggling versus a Kamara, but making the necessary adjustments. How important is it to have Vita Vea back on Sunday, and how much of an impact do you believe he's going to have on that defensive line, namely not only against opposing running backs, but also in the pass rushing abilities to free up guys like a Sue, a JPP, and a Shaq Barrett?
Yeah, I mean, he's been out since week 5, and you know that team. If you remember, when the Bucs handled the Packers easily earlier on in the year, Rojo had a massive game, had a couple of touchdowns, ran for over 100 yards, over 20 carries. I mean, he had a huge game. So who knows which running back is going to come to play with that team? That has been, to me, as somebody who's played fantasy for decades, and this year, trying to find out and figure out in advance who the Bucs were going to lean on has been impossible. So, I mean, I know Fournette, everybody thinks Fournette's going to be the guy who's going to at least start things off. But as was the case last week, you know, Rojo had that big run, and then you could see him with his quad. You could see him, pulling up a little bit after it. So you know Arians is going to go to hot hand. He's done it all year, and you got to figure he'll do it again. And honestly, I'll tell you, as confident as I was last week in the Bucs over the Saints, I don't have any idea who is going to win this game. This game could go in so many different directions. The Vegas line is 3.5 down to 3. You got to figure it's going to be a really good game. But boy, I do you? I mean, I know you try to go with the home team if you possibly can, but I just don't have a clue. I truly don't have a feel for this game one way or the other.
Yeah, I'm just not sure, but I could like kind of look at it from the standpoint of this team got over the hump. It's kind of like when they beat the Eagles, except the Eagles were in the NFC Championship game. They get over the hump versus the Saints. This team, the way they're playing right now, the game plan they had versus the Saints, I feel like they can do the same thing. And to tell you the truth, Dennis, even though this Packer defense played well versus the Rams, I'm just not sure if they're as good as the Saints defense. So I kind of feel like, you know, with Brady not necessarily having the best game versus the Saints, he could actually have a 300-yard game with one of these wide receivers stepping up, namely a Mike Evans or a Chris Godwin, especially with an Antonio Brown out.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're right about the Rams. First of all, Kupp was out. Goff had not been playing. I kept hoping that the Bucs were going to have to play the Rams at some point, because I really think they were, even though they looked okay, that offense outside of Cam Akers, there was just nothing left. And by the way, Cam Akers really looked good the last 4 or 5 weeks of that season. You got to wonder if he's going to be an early round draft pick in fantasy drafts next year. I'll be looking at him along with J.K. Dobbins too. But
I mean, he should have been in the first place. That's why I didn't understand his drop, because he ran behind one of the poorest offensive lines in college football history, still was productive. And finally, the Rams get a chance to start him, and it's all aces for him. So I agree with you on that. I feel like that offense, the way for it to go, and because of Goff's inconsistencies, you're going to have to depend on that running game next year. I would definitely draft Cam Akers in the first or second round. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think him and J.K. Dobbins, I think both of those are guys that I'm looking at quite a bit, even though with Baltimore, I know we're getting away from the topic, but Baltimore with Jackson and with Edwards in there too, taking away some touches. But my point was, again, the Rams offense really was not anything that was going to compete the way I looked at it. As good as their defense is, I didn't think they were going to shut down the Packers enough. But the bottom line is, I mean, look at all you got to do is, to me, just simplistically looking at it, look at the raw talent of the receiving core between two. You've got Devontae Adams, obviously, who's awesome and probably the best receiver in football right now. And then outside of that, you got Lazard, who's been so-so. You've got MVS, who's been so-so. You got Bobby Tunyon, who's been catching some touchdowns, but not a lot of receptions. So really not a lot. Now, personally, I'm a fan of A.J. Dillon. I mean, I know that, in the depth chart, he's number 3 behind Williams and behind Adams. But I'm sorry, behind Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like Dillon a lot. And I think next year he could come on to get quite a bit of carries, maybe a 50-50 split. But the Bucs, even without AB, and you guys mentioned it with your last guest, that catch by Tyler Johnson was ridiculous.
Yes.
I mean, And we've been talking Scotty Miller. You and I have been on here for months talking about how Scotty Miller has always been a guy who seemed to stretch the defense a little bit because he gave him that little burst of speed and allowed some stuff underneath to develop. So, losing AB is unfortunate, but I don't know. They've got so much depth there. I mean, yeah, I'm sitting here maybe talking myself into thinking the Bucs is the play, because if Fournette and Jones can at least give some sort of running game, then I just don't think that the offenses and the receivers can match up. And by the way, I saw this stat on ESPN. I thought this was interesting. I don't remember the exact numbers, but Aaron Rodgers going into the fourth quarter in the playoffs, losing, his numbers are insanely bad. Like 3-11 career, like really, really terrible. Now you can make the argument maybe they haven't been losing that many times in the fourth quarter. Well, they have 14 times if that's what the number was. And on the flip side, Tom Brady was just insanely good in that kind of a situation. So you have to wonder, with all the receiving core as good as they are, even without AB, you got to wonder if it's a close game down the stretch. The crowd isn't going to be as big of a factor because they don't allow as many people in. I mean, and that's a big thing, because that Lambeau Field, that crowd there can be a huge asset to the offense. And with half the people or a third of the people in there, it's going to be a lot less noisy, and that can certainly do nothing but help the Bucs.
And we're on with Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News. Does a phenomenal job of forecasting weather and, of course, talking sports here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. We got to get you a Bucs Report shirt, because I feel like you've been a part of the family. We've been talking to you, so I really appreciate the time as always. But this is the reason why, Dennis, you get Tom Brady in the first place, to win games like this. And it certainly seems like, with his play the last half of the season and, of course, in the postseason, that he's not going to really turn over the ball. That's key, right?
Well, that's huge. And you're exactly right. And that's something I haven't been mentioning. Even, earlier in the year when they were on their downstretch, he was throwing a lot of picks. But in the last 4 or 5 weeks, he's been on the money. You haven't seen him go to the ground too often. I'll tell you, early on in the game against the Saints, they were getting to him a little bit, and I was getting a little nervous, but the offensive line stepped it up. And yeah, I mean, they've done what they've had to do. I just can't imagine if it comes down to it. Well, I don't know though. You've got two of the best quarterbacks in history. Yeah. I mean, how often is this going to happen? I mean, and with Drew Brees last week, same deal. But I still have to wonder in the back of my mind if those 11 cracked ribs and everything else that he had going on somehow came into effect in how he was performing. I mean, the Bucs don't want to take anything from the Bucs defense, because they played a game unlike I ever thought they would play in that game. But you just wonder if Drew Brees was able to give everything that he had. I think Aaron Rodgers against Tom Brady, it's just going to be a blast to watch. And, I'm hoping for the best, because, boy, it would be, considering we're about 100 feet from Ray J, our station is literally across the street from Ray J, that could be some serious fun.
You're absolutely right. And defensively, in your opinion, do you think they can blitz an Aaron Rodgers? Are you as aggressive as you were versus a Brees? Because, coming into that game, Brees is not going to throw the ball deep. His wide receivers are not that great getting separation, if you will. Michael Thomas is more of a slant guy, not a deep guy. But can you do the same thing that you did versus the Saints, or do you have to change it up? And how concerned are you with A-Rod's mobility to get out of the pocket and make things happen against this defense on Sunday?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, because you remember last week we were talking about, we thought Kamara. We thought that Brees would throw it out in the flat to Kamara because he's made a living doing that. And they didn't last week. And not really sure why, but that isn't what they were doing. Aaron Jones can catch the ball. He's a good receiver. He can catch the ball in the flat. And I think that's obviously it's probably not even going to be a check down. It's just going to be more of those. If the Bucs do find a way to get a little pressure on him, then I think they'll probably use Jones quite a bit more out in the flat. But at the end of the day, they win that game. If they win that game, Davante Adams is going to be the man. He's been their man all year. He has been their superstar. And even it isn't even in long passes either. I mean, a lot of times they get into the red zone or inside the 10 or inside the 5. Rodgers is still throwing the ball to Adams and to Tunyon, because Tunyon, and it's spelled Tunyon, I think it's pronounced Tunyon. Every game, the guy seems to get a couple of receptions, 2 or 3 receptions, but one ends up being a touchdown. The over-under on Aaron Rodgers is 2.5 touchdown passes on the player props. I'm actually looking at it right now, and it's 2.5 minus 145, which means that you have to lay even a little bit more than even money, quite a bit more than even money, and you still need Aaron Rodgers to throw 3 touchdown passes. So Vegas at least thinks, and by the way, his prop at over-under is at 295. Brady's down to like 285. So it's pretty close, but Vegas seems to think that Rodgers is going to be maybe a little more efficient, and they're going to be doing a lot of throwing because the running backs, the props are very low for all those running backs.
I'll tell you what, I want to introduce you to somebody, Mr. Harry the Greek, my professional handicapper, Mr. 88%, going up to 89.90 as we speak. Harry the Greek, welcome to the Evolution. I want you to meet Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News, and you're talking about this betting aspect. How do you see this game, Greek?
You know what? First off, really nice to meet you. Mr. Phillips, I've been a big fan of watching you in the weather for, absolute years. But you know what? You missed your calling, brother. You should have been a sports announcer and a prognosticator. How do I see this game? Mm-hmm. Oh, my Lord. It's just going to be a battle. And I kind of have the same sentiments as Dennis has. I just don't have a feel for it yet. I've rewatched the last 2 games twice. I've looked up matchup after matchup after matchup. If the line goes to 4, you're going to have to take Tampa catching the points.
Mm-hmm.
3, it's kind of dangerous. There's got to be some sort of an advantage, being in Green Bay, being on the road, 2 consecutive road games in a row. There has to be some sort of an advantage in Green Bay. But the it factor has to go with Tampa. And, Brady, it's just it's a big game. And then again, you can make the same, look, man, I don't know which way to go in this game. I knew I was going to have a prediction tonight. It's kind of a coin flip. It really, really, truly is. It just depends on where that line fits at. Earlier in the week, the total was 50 points. It's all the way up to 52.5. You can't even bet over in this game. It's just too high. Dennis, what do you think?
Yeah, I said that about 10 minutes ago. I'm never one to shy away from making a prediction ever. But on this game, I'm far more interested in some of the props than I am actually the game itself. And I really think the line closes at 3. It opened at 3.5. It's been some places now it's -3, minus $1.20. So for you to get it down to 3, you have to pay a little bit more. To me, 3 is a bigger number than 7. And I would be shocked if it goes up to 4. I think you're right. I think it settles down at 3 or 3.5 in the total. I do think the weather could come into play in the total. A lot of folks say, well, if it's a sloppy field or if it's snowing, that's going to make it a lower scoring game. Not necessarily, because there's always the premise that the offensive player knows where he's going to go. The receiver knows where he's going to make his cut, and the quarterback knows where that cut's going to be, but the defender doesn't. So if, there's a lot of folks who might be thinking, okay, maybe it'll be a wet track or a slick track, and that could help the offense. So for me, I like the props of Leonard Fournette over 42.5. That to me is, I think,
you have
really,
to bet over.
I think so too. And his receiving prop is 28.5, and I kind of like the over on that as well. So, Rojo, I would never touch with a 10-foot pole because a couple of weeks ago he was on the field. Everybody thought he was going to play, and he ended up being active and not playing the entire game because of his quad. So I would stay away from there. But yeah, for the game itself, I'm with you. I'd love to make a prediction. I'll be rooting for the Bucs, even though I've got my Rays jersey on or my Rays sweatshirt. But I'll tell you, I just don't know. And I don't think I've ever said that before when it comes to a prediction. I'm completely right down the middle of coin flip. I'm with you on that.
It's a total coin flip, Dennis. It's just there are so many different variables here that it's not even funny. If Green Bay comes out and tries to get into a shootout with this team, they're going to lose. I honestly think Green Bay is going to try to run the football, even though the Tampa's run defense is much, much better than what Green Bay puts out on the field. If they do get into a ball control game, this game definitely goes under. That's just my opinion. But that is Aaron Rodgers out there, and all year long he's been chucking it all over the field, and the running game's been pretty consistent. And I don't think Tampa is really going to be expecting a good running game coming from Green Bay. So for those reasons, Green Bay may keep this game close.
And I think that's where you have to go here, guys. Dennis, you could see definitely a ball control game where you basically have to win the turnover war. Let's say your biggest concern is Aaron Rodgers in this offense. In your opinion, what we saw the defense do against the Saints, do you feel like they can replicate that effort versus the Packers?
That's the $128,000 question, right? Because if they can run on this team, they will win that game. I do believe that, because just the Bucs have far too much offensive firepower on the outside, that if that defense has to start cheating a little bit to stop the run, then that's going to open up Mike Evans. Chris Godwin, and I'm a Penn State grad, so I love Godwin, but his combination of his injuries this year, not playing in the slot because AB's in the slot, although obviously he's out this game, you maybe wonder if that might help Godwin, if getting him back into maybe more of his comfort zone could open up the middle of the field a little bit for him. But I do agree. I think it boils down to that running game for the Bucs. Whether or not it becomes a shootout, Vegas certainly thinks it's a shootout, as you mentioned, because that totals at 51, the same number that it was in New Orleans. And I didn't see that it's gone up to 52 and a half. So clearly the money's coming in on the over. But I always caution folks, whenever the public goes one way, I go the other way, because the public's usually wrong.
I got to agree with you on that one. But you know what? I bet you I can entice you here. A lot of people don't know what a teaser is. Dennis, I think you know exactly where I'm coming from. You're going to take the points. Let's add another 6, and then
add another 6 to it. Yep. Yeah, teasers are.
That's exactly what they are. They tease you.
Yeah, well, and a lot of people I know over the years who actually I would respect as people who I think are borderline professional gamblers. They've made a lot of their money on teasers.
I tell you what, I got to do something really quick. I got to introduce you, Dennis, to also one of our best writers here at Bucs Report, Best of the Bay, Mr. Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with Dennis Phillips and, of course, our professional handicapper, Mr. Harry the Greek. How you doing tonight, Tampa Bay, Ray? Say hello.
I'm doing good, fellas. Like somebody said teaser. I thought you were referring to me. Doing well, Peter.
All right, good stuff there. So, Dennis, I got to get you out of here on this. Who's a primetime player offensively and defensively? Is it a Chris Godwin who's had a couple drops in this postseason, which is not like him, or is it somebody else offensively? And then defensively, who stands out against the Packers on Sunday? And then your final prediction, Bucs versus the Packers, who wins and why?
For a surprise offensive player for the Bucs, Cameron Brate has been awfully interesting over the last couple of games when a lot of teams have been focusing on Gronk, and Brate has made a couple of big catches, and I would not be surprised. I mean, I think it's Godwin. I do like Godwin with AB out. I think it reminds a lot of folks of what he did last year. Hopefully he's healthy now. In terms of the defense, boy, I don't even know if I bring it down to one individual person. If they can put together a collective effort like they did last week, the Bucs will clearly win this game. I'm not sure if they're capable of doing that, because turnovers are one of those things that you just can't handicap. I mean, you just don't know when they're going to happen. There's a lot of luck when it comes to turnovers, and the Bucs got a ton of them last week, giving them some really good field position. So defense, I don't know. The prediction, I'll go 27-24 Bucs, only because I'm being a homer. Because honestly, I don't think that I would be putting $1 on that side. I do like those prop bets that I was telling you about quite a bit.
Those prop bets are awesome, Dennis. They really are. But I really like the way you just went right borderline, right at 51 points. That was really good. Sneaky there, Dennis.
I'm telling you, though, I just don't have the feeling for it. I mean, you asked me about the Chiefs and the Bills. That's another story. But yeah, the Bucs, I'm going to root them on, and hopefully we'll be having this conversation next week or the following week against the Chiefs.
Actually, I bet the Chiefs. I'm sorry, I bet the Bills on the money line. I announced I announced on week 7 that this team was the best team in the National Football League, and everybody said that I was absolutely crazy. And I said it's 1 and 1A between Kansas City and Buffalo. And I just honestly think that Kansas City's going to have their hands full this weekend.
I think you're right. I think Zach Moss out kind of hurts, although that team doesn't run that much anyway. Stephon Diggs has been insane over the last month to 6 weeks. But I don't care about a concussion. I don't care about anything else. I do not believe at home Pat Mahomes is going to lose that game. And I think a lot of folks, Edwin Solaire is back as well. I'm not saying he's going to do that much, but that team, to me, and that is just, at the end of the day, I think it's going to be the Chiefs and more than likely the Bucs. So there's the prediction.
Oh, there you go.
That's a heck of a prediction. By the way, they didn't call it he wasn't concussed. I just heard this on the NFL Network tonight. I have no idea. It's some medical term, something jarred around. To me, it sounds like a concussion. Okay.
Yeah, that's what
he wasn't concussed. Something in
a lot of folks are saying he was choked out. I mean, it looked like it. I mean, and I don't think this is what happened because I listened to there's a fantasy show that I listen to every day, and there's a doctor that's on there. The guy actually went to school at Harvard, played for the Redskins at the time, won a Super Bowl, and now he's a surgeon, and he did RG3's ACL, and he's on every week. And I was listening to him, and he was saying that a lot of folks thought that it was just a lack of oxygen to the brain, like maybe somebody had something on his neck, but in his mind, it was just purely a concussion. And they said there is 100% in his mind, there's a 100% chance he's back, which they already announced, and he's going to have just a heck of a game. So we'll see. It's going to be a fun weekend of football, or a fun Sunday of football, at least.
It definitely is going to be a fun weekend of football. Again, the Sunday there, 3 o'clock, of course, the Bucs versus the Packers. After that, I think it's 6:40, Kansas City versus the Buffalo Bills. How is it looking at the Deck Bar and Grill in Isla del Sol for the weather-wise? We're going to have Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy out there, Harry the Greek, our professional handicapper, outside. How good is it going to be outside on Sunday?
Sun will be out and the guns will be out. But going back.
I didn't ask you, Ray. I asked Dennis Phillips. What's the weather?
Oh, I'm sorry, Dennis. Go ahead, please, Dennis.
Sunday's going to be great. Sunday's going to be about 78, mostly sunny. It's going to start off foggy. There's going to be fog out in the morning, but in the afternoon, it's going to be a great day. And by the way, there's probably going to be a little bit of rain and snow in Kansas City as well. A lot of folks haven't been talking about that. Everybody's been focusing on Green Bay. I don't think it's going to be a huge deal, but I do think there could be some light freezing rain or some light. And that obviously could have a little bit of an impact on the game as well. But for Tampa, it looks great.
All right, there you go. Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News. Thanks a lot for your time here on The Evolution. Great. All right.
Good luck, guys.
Nice to meet you, Dennis.
There you go. Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News. Get him out of here. We're on with the boys here. Harry the Greek, my professional handicapper, 88% going up to 89, 90% as we speak. And, of course, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay. So, fellas, of course, we were kind of learned today that Antonio Brown is going to miss this game, although the good news is that Vita Vea is going to play. So are you kind of changing your tune on this, Harry, of how much Vea is going to make an impact on this defensive line? Or do you still see him seeing limited snaps on this line on Sunday?
Well, I feel like if I don't change my mind, everybody's going to hang me up from the cross like that. Okay. Okay, yes, I agree. He's going to play. He's a monster, everything. No, he's going to be, they're going to have to bring him in situationally. That's just my opinion.
I'll tell you.
If Green Bay wants to run the ball all the time, oh, yeah, they're going to get a big dose of Vita Vea.
Well, for me, the proof in the pudding was today when Bruce Arians came out and said, because, he's been training at the facility all along. He's just now getting back into the football. So we talk about football shape being a thing, and it is. But for Arians today to say that he's been solid running for 3.5 weeks over at the Advent Health Training Facility, One Bug Place. So, and you see some of that clip of him, and he's doing his quick drop backs and his big leg lifts and stuff. Just a huge man, just a solid body inside. I mean, I think that he could definitely be in there just to take up space. And of course, like we always allude to in a 3-4 defense, that nose tackle or that inside guy is there to tie up linemen and allow those linebackers the ability to free roam. So how much he gets in there, I think it'll be predicated upon how strong and successful he is from the get-go. But I would not be surprised if he plays 65% of the snaps or maybe more.
I mean, I certainly think there's a possibility, but I'm kind of with Harry on this. You could see limited snaps, although should the game plan be, in your opinion, fellas, the Packers trying to run the ball so they can, set up that balance, or are they going to come out and basically try to chuck the ball all over the place and, test that Buccaneers secondary out, in your opinion, Harry?
You know what? Yes, I think they're going to try to test it out. I really do, but I want to switch gears here just for a second.
Sure.
Since we're talking about hypotheticals, what if I told you there's a possibility that if the Buccaneers do win this Sunday and they go to the Super Bowl, that O.J. Howard could come back and play?
Wow. That would be...
Let's throw that out there. That'll be confirmed on tomorrow. Not 100% confirmed at this point.
Well, we'll see, because that was a knee injury. So it's a little bit different from Vea's injury, but who knows at this point? I think everything is out on the table. How do you see this working out with the Packers' game plan offensively? Do you feel like, Ray, they're going to run the ball, try to test this Bucs run defense, even with the Vea back, or are they going to come out and trust in Aaron Rodgers to throw it? Which, by the way, Rodgers had one of his worst games of the season versus this Bucs secondary.
And, I broke the games down, the games that Aaron Rodgers has, 121.5% QB quarterback percentage for the year, his second most in the NFL history, beating Aaron Rodgers' own 2011, which was 222.5. And I went back and I'm thinking, I wanted to see what was he doing in the other 15 games that he didn't do in Tampa after he got that Hinkle McCrinkle and he woke that Buccaneer defense up. And one of the things they didn't use that you see him used all throughout the year, because the names come up so much, is that tight end Tonyan. And you go back and look at that game, week 6, they're back in October, and Tonyan only had a few catches for 31 yards. And Aaron Rodgers really relies upon rolling out and buying time and then looking for that long pass if they jam him off the defensive line. And then Tonyan's his outlet. So what happened was the Buccaneers, of course, JPP had 1.5 sacks, and you had your 3 linebackers had 4 sacks, and you had a 5th sack, and they kept Aaron Rodgers from being able to roll out and buy that extra time and find those down the field passes. So I think Tonyan is a receiver that you're going to want to look for. Obviously, he's going to want to look for his other big receivers and such, but he's going to want to try to buy time. So the key for the Buccaneers is to just make him uncomfortable from the very get-go and have him dancing happy feet right from the start, not letting him get to that comfort level, free range roam around, and start hitting those balls down the field, because the guy's a precise passer.
He really is a precise passer, and you look at that game versus the Saints, and namely that secondary and a Sean Murphy Bunting, a Carlton Davis, a Jamel Dean. Of course, Dean's passed. You know that Dean, in the back of Rodgers' mind, Dean is going to be lurking, so you wonder if he tries to make a play again. We're on with Harry the Greek, my professional handicapper, Mr. 89%. Actually, I gave him 88. So 88 to 89% going up by the second, minute, hour. And, of course, we've got Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. Best of the Bay, Cup of Ray. What do you say? Let's go out to the webheads here. Read these comments from you guys because we've been kind of neglecting you. So let's see. Somebody says, Dennis, where is your Bucs gear? And of course, if you guys don't know, Bernie Sanders is in the background there, as you can see that. Where's your Bucs gear? We're gonna have to get him some Bucs Report gear. Paulie says early pressure on the Pack in week 6. Doubts will kick in again. There you go. You got a dog there.
I got Ruth here
for this weekend game. There you go. You got Ruth. Tampa Bay is going to win time of possession and wear Green Bay's defense out.
Right,
Mr. Playami, hello from Tijuana, Mexico. So somebody watching from Mexico, very cool. Give the Bucs D credit for the Saints game. They played to the fact that Brees can only throw short. So I guess my question would be, Harry, do you think the Bucs can still play that type of defense where they're aggressive and they can squat on those short routes, or could that be dangerous because of Aaron Rodgers not only being able to run out of the pocket but also throw deep down the field?
Without trying to sound too condescending, read my lips. No. I'm telling you now, they do not want that style of defense that they had from before. That was all glitter and glam. That was because you were running up against a lame duck quarterback last week with Drew Brees. Not mobile at all. He had the 150. It's up to 150 now, fractured ribs. I mean, it just wasn't mobile. You do that against Aaron Rodgers, you're in trouble, especially in this game. Tampa needs to play the defense they've been playing all year long. The style of defense that I personally never liked, that zone, that bend, but don't break. When they get down to the 20, try to keep everything in front of them. If they play that style of defense, they're going to give up a lot of yards, but I think they'll be able to contain them very well. But do not get into a press man at all times in this game like they did last week. That would be a mistake.
All right, so let's go out to Tampa Bay. Ray, how do you see this? Press man defensively, or do you play back zone, or do you mix it around a little bit? And also, can you blitz an Aaron Rodgers? Because as we know, this defense loves the blitz. Can you blitz on Mr. Rodgers on Sunday, in your opinion?
Well, again, going back to that Week 6 matchup where the Packers jump out to a 10-point lead, but then we score 38 on unanswered points. 5 sacks. We had 1.5 sacks comes from Levante David. The other 1.5 came from Devin White. We had 1 sack from JPP. So that just goes to show you right there that you're getting the pressure from those linebackers. And I went back and looked, guys, and tell me if I'm wrong. I mean, I didn't get a chance to dig this deep. Vea was already injured by week 6. Is that correct?
Correct. He was injured in the Chicago game,
right.
But Sue was the guy that made all the plays in that game and really frustrated Rodgers.
And Sue was the one that really took the whole Hinkle McCrinkle thing to task and really started that defense up. Now, I go back and I say the Buccaneers are still going to play that type of defense, leaning on Devin White and Levante David and JPP. But also at the same time, now with that two-headed monster of Sue and of Vita Vea in there, it gives the Buccaneers a little bit even more of a chance. You still got to play Devontae Adams. You still got to play press coverage on him because they're going to try. He's going to get deep one time, and if you don't have pressure on Rodgers or you're not making him move out of the pocket, and you can keep Tunyon covered or not let Tunyon roam free and pick up those easy 12, 15-yarders that keeps the ball moving. Of course, everything is all predicated upon stopping that running game, and we know that's the Buccaneers' strength. But I think you'll see those linebackers also trying to get those blitzes again this time.
You know, I got to follow up with one thing, Ray. So if you're saying that you want to play in press coverage, with all due respect, I mean, I was listening to Blake earlier today. You play press coverage, and this makes really good sense, especially against Aaron Rodgers, and you have a single safety over the top, he's going to send 3 verticals every single time. And trust me, someone's going to get open. And Adam Lazard right now is his favorite target. It's not going to be Devontae Adams on those fly patterns.
Yeah, you're right. And go ahead.
It's going to depend. You live and die by the blitz. That's why I'm not saying I want the entire game. I'm saying you're going to have to pick and choose like Todd Bowles does with his blitz packages. But those are the ones it's going to be a classic chess game, a classic NFC chess game. And that being that you're going to want to use those players because first of all, for me, Devin White's first and only job is to shadow Rodgers in the pocket, keep him from rolling left and right, just like you would a Mahomes. Not let this guy get outside. We've seen Rodgers roll out and throw a 80-yard Hail Mary because he has such a precise throw. But I mean, for their first and foremost, their job is to protect him. But every now and then, instead of just being out back there to spy and cover the short, you commit them to go on the blitz. But you got to make sure you get there and get to him. Otherwise, Harry, you're right. You give him 3 verticals, and he picks the right one. And they're not covered. And we don't have a safety deep enough or they break off the route or they're too busy looking at the eyes of the quarterback into the backfield and not covering the receiver and looking for the ball. That could be a big mistake. But then again, that's the type of gambles you take when you play the chess game of NFL football.
You're exactly right about that. Todd Bowles does it, but he's really has I thought that the great game plan versus the Saints worked out. We'll see what kind of game plan he has versus the Packers. Talking about safety here, Harry the Greek, my professional handicapper, Antoine Winfield is questionable in this game. He may not even play. What's the impact on that back end versus the Packers?
Well, don't say that too loud. It's almost like saying Beetlejuice 3 times. Tampa needs him.
I agree.
Okay. I mean, let's just don't even want to talk about that. Let's not even address that. He's playing.
Okay.
Just keep saying he's playing. He's playing. Beetlejuice. He's playing. That's it. Period.
He's playing. Okay. All right. Ray, care to comment, or are you like Harry? You're knocking on wood. You're superstitious on this.
About who?
About Antoine Winfield in this game. He's going to play?
I think he plays. I think the questionable part, I thought the Antonio Brown was just the questionable part and he was coming out and then you find out later that it really is. And I think Antonio Brown ends up being an emotional thing because the guys on the team, they know it. They've seen how hard this kid's come along. I say kid, but Antonio's a vested veteran, but they know how hard he's played to want to get here, and they know that the hours he's put in and the time he takes to put into his craft. And I think that even he possibly would have maybe put his foot in a walking boot just to make the trip, just to see what it's like when he hit the field. And I think him staying here and rehabbing it and icing it and continuing to play on it gets the other 52 guys a good reason to go to Wisconsin, and it gives them a bit of an emotional thing to do, not just because they've been looking across the practice field all week watching all the Super Bowl decorations go up around Raymond James Stadium, but they got one of their own back. No man gets left behind, but in this case Antonio Brown gets left back there. But I think Winfield does see the field today because he was key in that first game with an interception, and we're going to need him hawking back there to try to make sure we don't let Aaron Rodgers get those deep balls.
I thought it was Mike Edwards that actually had the interception in the first matchup, and he that could be the replacement. I'm pretty sure it was Edwards, not
or was it? Was it also Carlton Davis?
I thought it was Edwards.
Jamel Dean.
Jamel Dean. That's right. Jamel Dean had one. Jamel Dean took it all the way to the house, and then Carlton, and then we had the other one went down to the 2.
Right. I agree. All right, let's go back out to the webheads here. I agree with that. Ben Israel says Penn State sucks. Roll Tide. J-Dog says, I don't like how they have done my boy Godwin this year. First take his number, then take his role and give it to AB. Not cool, but AB not playing in this game. So Harry, over under catches, and I got to throw out prop bets here. On to Chris Godwin. Is this the player, the X factor for this Bucs offense, in your opinion?
Well, he's supposed to be, but I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. He's dropped more passes in the playoffs than he's actually caught. Yes, I said that correctly.
Yeah.
I made a prediction that he wasn't going to have a case of the oopsies like he did in Washington, albeit he did catch a touchdown. But he dropped another 5 more passes in New Orleans. You can't do that.
Yeah.
The stage is not too big for him. And you know what? Dennis Phillips was correct. Injuries, things have been bothering him. Do I see the same type of game plan? No, but I don't trust him in this game. I do not trust him, even with Antonio Brown out. I don't care if you're putting him in the slot. I do not trust him in this game, especially in critical situations.
Over under how many catches? Over 4 catches in this game?
You know what, Peter? I don't know yet. I have to take a look. But if you told me 4 catches, I'm going to say under.
Wow. All right, so let me go critical there, but he's right. I mean, Godwin has had some big-time drops, and you look at that catch for the touchdown there against the Saints here, Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, as you're dealing with Ruth right now. Godwin, in your opinion, could he be in line for a big-time game versus the Pack on Sunday?
I think he is in line for a big-time game against the Pack. I think that we're going to also be relying more on Mike Evans, but I really think for me, I go back to that Week 6 matchup, and the big thing that stood out to me was Ronald Jones, the victim of volume. Over 131 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns, and we know that was his third 100-plus game in a row, 100-yard-plus game in a row. Where was he at with his quad? Has that thing gotten back to where he's going to get on the field, or are we going to see Leonard Fournette stepping in there and doing the same thing? Because don't forget, guys, one of the big reasons why we came back and scored 38 unanswered points against those Green Bay Packers was we had that play action in effect because our running game was very effective, and it was really setting up the play action. But you get the play action pass going, you could be hitting Godwin, Evans, Scotty Miller, Tyler Vaughn. You could be hitting everybody down the field.
Yeah, and you go to that running game here, Harry the Greek. Dennis said he didn't want to touch Jones with a 10-foot pole. He wanted to go with Fournette. Is that how you feel? I'll tell you what, let's hold off on that opinion. Let's go out to our phone lines. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, Harry the Greek, our professional handicapper, and, of course, Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Adam over here at Largo.
What's going on, Adam? How do you feel about this game coming up on Sunday, the NFC Championship game, Bucs versus the Green Bay Packers?
I'm a little nervous because of as far as hoping the Bucs actually run
the Bucs
this game.
Hold on a sec, Ray. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Adam.
No. It's cool. It's cool. Well, I have no problem with their defense in this game. I think they're going to do well defensively, but the offense has to score points. One thing that Brady can't do in this game is passing the football as many times as he does in every single game. I think running the football is going to definitely benefit them in this game, especially using Fournette more than Rojo, my opinion.
I think you're exactly right about that. Let's go out to the guys here, especially Harry the Greek. Over throws, over 30 throws in this game. Is that what you want from Tom Brady because he can't take care of the ball? Or once again, do you want to see a mix of 33 throws versus the Saints 35 runs like they did versus New Orleans last Sunday?
I could care less how many throws he makes in this game as long as it's split 50-50. So if they have 60 plays, he can get 30 throws. I'd be happy with it. If there was 80 plays, I don't care if he throws for 40 times as long as you're running the ball 50% of the time because Green Bay is real susceptible up the middle against the run. Big time susceptible over the middle. So why put yourself in jeopardy of throwing an ill-advised pass? I mean, even Ruthie agrees with me. Ray, don't make me get turbo, up on the screen here.
Yeah, Tampa Bay Ray having your issues there with Ruth there, but she was licking your face there. She was really happy about.
Well, she said she wants Brady to throw the ball the whole game. She's got a little problem with what Harry was saying, and I'm trying to explain to her what play action will open up the passing lanes, and it'll make so we're going to use the runs to set up the pass. Although Ruthie's saying, set up the pass to use the runs to set up, or pass to set up the runs.
That makes sense. All right, so Adam, what else?
Here's the deal that I keep on hearing from a lot of fans. I especially at work and stuff. Let's forget about the cold weather, please. Can we put that as a non-factor?
But why? It's going to be cold.
Well, it's
going to be mid-20s, slightly windy with snow. Who the hell wants to be in that weather? I don't.
Well, I know there's a lot of. Go ahead, Adam.
Harry, you said it yourself. Okay, this sport is a winter sport.
Yeah.
When you're in the NFC Championship, and Brady has been here before plenty of times. He's been in the dance plenty of times. You don't think? First of all, I said it last week. I wouldn't want to be in a huddle with Brady when the team is down. This guy knows how to motivate and lead his team. These guys are prepared. And one thing I was listening to Keyshawn and Jay. I listen to them every single morning going to work. And most of these guys like to take off their shirts and go ahead and practice before the game and stuff like that to show the other team that they're not focused about the weather. No, you're pretty much showing the other team that, yeah, you are focused about the weather. Go out there and play the damn game.
Yeah,
play your game. Go out there, play the game. That's all you need to do. Execute every play.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Harry said, run the football 50% of the time, even if they split it, But they need to know that this is the NFC Championship, one game away from the Super Bowl, and they need to do the best they can. I was talking to Harry today about the Giants actually going into Green Bay years ago, before, the year that they actually went to the Super Bowl.
Good point.
And I asked Harry, I said, were you sure that, were you positive that you were thinking that the Giants were going to win that game? And he said, absolutely.
I won a boatload of money in that game.
And the reason why, guys, is because, look, Eli was making throws at that point, but really what they were depending on was the running game and the defense, especially that defensive rotation. And look, the Bucs can be that way. They have shown in this season that they can run the ball. They showed it last week. So I kind of hope they have that same type of game plan going forward on Sunday, being committed to that run because, like Ray was saying, Harry has said, everybody has said here on this broadcast, when you have that run game, it makes your offense balanced and it also opens up that play action. And to me, I don't feel like, even though this Green Bay defense is playing well right now, I don't feel like they're as talented as the Saints. So I think there could be some explosive plays, namely those over 20-yard plays that basically Brady likes. Adam, what do you think?
Well, here's the thing. Nobody's better at doing audibles than Aaron Rodgers in the quarterback position. You know what I mean? Confusing defenses, with that loud ass voice that he has, and doing the audibles, trying to throw the defense off and stuff. Defense is going to be prepared.
Yeah.
Defense is going to win this
I
game.
agree. I agree with Adam about the whole not, going out there with the shirts off and just, going out there and showing you're not affected by the cold and just, going out there to take care of business. But I would not mind seeing, just to show how bad he is, Ryan Suckup maybe not wearing a shoe on his kicking foot, a la Tony Franklin. A la Tony Franklin. A la Tony Franklin back in the day. Tony Franklin, Tony Franklin, the Eagles kicker, would walk out there and he would nail 50-yard kicks with his bare foot.
Hang on, I'll cut his mic. No,
don't do it.
Don't do it. First, knock on wood when he say Ryan Suckup, because the last Suckup, he missed a couple of kicks there, which cost us some money there, Harry.
A lot of money. Not a little, a lot. Peter will even tell you how much money it cost because he couldn't kick an extra point.
Is that why he moved?
That's why he moved. That's why he moved. You know, I thought you were going to say something about the weather, Ray, because I thought honestly you were going to say it don't make a difference, buddy. I'm just going to be the sun and the guns are out. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why my beard is so gray at this point, because of money. But Adam, it's a good point. Do you feel like special teams in this game could be a big factor because of the playing conditions and because both teams are playing it so close? Who do you think that would favor, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, I think it's gonna favor Tampa.
Okay,
my opinion more. My question to you guys, and this is probably going to be towards what Harry's going to say. I mean, if you're Brady and you are throwing the ball,
right,
and if you're looking at Mike Evans, you're looking at Godwin, Antonio Brown is not going to play this game. Do you go to Scotty Miller more? Do you go to Gronk more?
I think there's certainly a possibility, and I'll tell you why. Because if Miller, he has that speed aspect, and I feel like once again those explosive plays could be there. Of course, the Bucs leading with over 20-yard throws by Tom Brady, so I feel like there is definitely some chemistry there. We saw last week when Miller was in the clutch, he caught a big-time 29-yard pass, so that could absolutely be a possibility. And we all know the prowess, gentlemen, of Rob Gronkowski in big time games, how he's definitely, pardon the pun, a safety blanket because it is so cold out there for Tom Brady. So, Harry, in your opinion, could we see more involvement by Miller and a Gronkowski, especially a Gronk in this game?
No, I think Gronkowski is going to be held in to protect Brady because they're going to be running the ball an awful lot. And you and I were talking about that on the last show, how much better Gronkowski has been since he's taken on that role. And every once in a while, he runs a chip block, he gets around the flats, he catches a pass, everything's going to be fine. Who I think they're going to target more? Well, I'm sorry, you asked me the other question about Scotty Miller. I think he's going to get about 3 targets.
Okay.
And out of those 3, 2 of them are going to be deep balls. If he catches one, I think he'll be successful. But the one that I think they're going to target in this game, I think you're going to get a minimum of 8 targets, minimum, to Mike Evans in this game. They are going to utilize Mike Evans. They are going to exploit that double coverage because once you send Scotty Miller deep, that safety is going to freeze to try to cover the other side, but it's going to be too late. And Mike Evans is the best in football at jump balls.
I mean, and we forget about Jair Alexander, who's a pretty good corner in his own right for the Green Bay Packers. How do you see this matchup playing out? Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay, Scotty Miller, Gronkowski. Out of those two, who do you think catches the most passes? Or like Harry said, is it an Evans type of day?
Well, and the thing was when Harry said 8 catches to Mike Evans, I think that sounds great. I totally agree. Could be that way. I also we've seen it over the last couple of games when Gronkowski's had to make that commitment to stay in and help that offensive line. And, a lot of the talking heads this week have pointed out that the left guard and tackle are the weakest point. The Buccaneers offensive line has overachieved at times this year, but that left guard and tackle are its weakest point. I would think we'd see Cam Brate getting some opens over the middle, especially if we're just doing to soften the defense up, because then we get them guys to play up in the box. They bring a few up because they can't hit them underneath with the Cam Brate and with the rookie receiver, and then that's when your Scotty opens up deep, just goes deep with Scotty, and then maybe even you get Mike Evans on a deep, because we've seen him can take some nice balls with some yak after a good catch across the middle.
Ooh, the word yak.
Oh, I like that. Yards after the catch, kids, if you don't know what that is. And
as good as the word mow.
Can Harry and Ray do me a favor? Can they reach out to Byron Leftwich and DJ, if they can, and ask them where the hell is Shady McCoy?
Where's who?
Shady McCoy. I mean, is that a player that you think makes it in this game? Or once again, are the Bucs pretty happy with the Ronald Jones, the victim of volume, and of course, a Leonard Fournette?
I think they need to make him walk the plank. Don't even get me started on that. Okay.
Yeah.
Really? He missed the Washington game for what? He wasn't feeling good. This is what they got him for. That's when they needed him the most. I mean, give me a break. No one has ever revealed why he missed that game.
Well, I think it comes down to this. I think he's not been as effective as the Bucs think he should be. I think they wanted to go with Keyshawn Vaughn. Of course, Vaughn fumbled, so we haven't heard from him. So they're definitely happy. I still think the victim of volume, and maybe it's because I'm biased and some people call me a fanboy on this show, but he gives you the best opportunity because, yes, Fournette can run between the tackles, and he's definitely strong at the point of the attack, but you're looking for explosive plays, something to change the complexion of this game. Rojo, the VOV, could definitely be the main component, in my opinion, in this running back.
Again, 131 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns in that game. And the 2 touchdowns are important, but all the more important is those 131 yards rushing, those clips he was getting at 7.9 yards per average. Those clips were directly setting up those passing plays that Brady was connecting on and moving the ball down the field. 41% on third down in that game, but then we've seen in the last 5 games with the Bucs winning 6 in a row, they're number 1 in the league in third down efficiency or scoring touchdowns on third down. But a lot of that predicated upon the teams having to play that run honest. So a victim of volume has to at least be a victim of deception.
Oh, okay. I like it. So, Adam, let me ask you really quick. Offensive player that's going to stand out in this game, defensive player that's going to stand out in this game, and give me your prediction unless you want to wait until Sunday for the pregame show.
I can't really give you a defensive player in mind.
Okay.
I think everybody's gonna do their job. I think everybody putting pressure on Aaron Rodgers is going to be the main focus. Getting him frustrated. When he's frustrated, he doesn't play well. We all know that.
Right.
Offensive player, I can probably go with Mike Evans. Just like Harry said. And Ray, when the Bucs win this game on Sunday, you need to do a video of jumping in Harry's pool.
Yeah, you definitely need to do that. And I'll tell you right now, Ray, I'll do it with you, bud. We'll do it. We'll all do it together here at Bucs Report. We're trying to get everybody together and do it.
You got it.
So,
hey, you guys have a good one, and just much love, and we'll be toasting on Sunday once they get this win.
All right, good stuff. Let me go ahead and fire those cannons right there, and I'll give you this right there. Woo! Thank you very much, Adam, for the phone call. We appreciate your time. Let me go back out to the phone lines here. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, and Ruth, and my professional handy here. He's agreed for 80, going up to 89%. What's your name? Where are you calling from? What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay, well, that was a good call. That's not necessarily what I wanted. So I tell you what, let's go back out to the web. Oh, all right. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how you doing, Peter? This is Nate. This is Landon, actually. Landon.
Oh, what's going on, Landon? How you doing, bud? What's on your mind?
Great.
What's on your mind, boss? Bucs versus the Packers. How do you see it? Offensive player that's going to stand out, defensive player that's going to stand out. Whatever you want to talk about tonight, go for it.
Okay, so the thing is about the Packers game, I really think this is going to be a classic.
Okay.
And I really do believe it's going to come down to our interior defense, and that was big that we may get back Vita Vea.
Well, you're going to get him back. He's going to play. He was activated today, so you're going to get him back on Sunday. He's going to play in that game. That's going to be a big-time get for this Buccaneer defense. Yeah. So, what kind of impact do you think he's going to make on this line on Sunday?
I mean, it's a big impact because with our running game being that it's going to be in the snow, that's a big deal to have a defense. Our interior back intact, stop that running game of the Packers. And the biggest concern I have is with the media is hyping the Bucs. I mean, what I've seen. They've picked the Bucs to win. I don't like that they're picking us to win. That's the biggest thing. I like that we're the underdog. Now I'm hoping we can our team stay focused,
right,
and keep that mentality as we're the underdog, even though we beat them before, and just go out and perform like they did last week. Because I did call you a week before that game.
You did,
and I was very hard on that defense.
Sure.
And I think they listened to your show and they took that to heart, and they played amazing last week.
Sure.
So I mean, I'm hoping they keep that same focus. I really do believe it's going to come down to our running game. So Leonard Fournette is it's the key really, because I don't think I mean, don't get me wrong. The other running back, Jones, I don't know if this is the game for him. I think this is going to be a pound of rock straight down the middle game, and that's Fournette's game. I think it's going to be tight end because I don't think you'll be able to throw too far, and I think it's going to be the tight end. I think it's going to be the running game. It's going to be our interior, our running game, and our tight end. I do believe that's the three biggest things, and if we can get that intact, we may be going to the Super Bowl.
Well, I don't think we may be going to the Super Bowl. I've said from the very get-go, Super Bowl or bust. I would expect them to win this game versus the Packers because they got over the hump versus the Saints. It's going to be a tough matchup. But again, I said the Bucs are going to win the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year. I'm sticking by that. So,
yep.
So,
I am as well.
Offensive player that's going to stand out, defensive player that's going to stand out. What do you think the impact of missing an Antonio Brown in this offense is going to be? Scotty Miller, Tyler Johnson.
Antonio Brown, that's a big deal.
Okay.
Everyone keeps talking about Scotty Miller. Scotty Miller is a great wide receiver, really great wide receiver.
Right.
But what stands out between Scotty Miller and AB, it's the clutch performances. Like clutch number one wide receiver. That's why AB was the best wide receiver in the game. In clutch situations, he's going to catch that ball. You can have 1,500 yards during the season, but when it comes down to the last play of the game, like Godwin is a great wide receiver. But as you can see, his learning curve being that this is the first time in the playoffs, those drop passes they're like magnified 1,000% when you're in the playoffs.
Sure.
So I mean, Scotty Miller, very great wide receiver, but I've seen him drop a couple of passes as well. So I'm hoping he's, as clutch or can be as or learn to be clutch. But if AB was there, I really do believe that if you had to throw it up to someone and it was 10 seconds left, I would choose Antonio Brown is going to make that catch over a Scotty Miller, and that's because of experience.
Yeah,
And
I think
that.
I think that's a good point. Yeah, because he definitely has that experience in the playoffs before. I mean, never really thought of it that way. Although, again, I just think guys come through for Tom Brady at the end of the day. So defensively, who's the guy that stands out in your opinion?
Defensively, it's really going to be the interior, and the reason being is because it's a cold game.
Okay.
And I can't really pick a pinpoint play because I don't think it's going to be everybody up in the front four. Because we're a Florida, like a sunshine, Florida team. We don't really do too much well in the cold. So the biggest thing I think is to stop the run, and hopefully we can win this game. That's to be honest with you. I can't really pick a player in the defense that's going to make a real big impact. I think it's going to be a group setting, a group effort that's going to get us over that hump.
I like it. All right, give me a score. Or are you going to wait until the pregame on Sunday?
I mean, I can give you a score.
All right.
I really think it's going to be 24-27 Tampa over the field goal.
All right.
Last-second field goal.
I like it. Ryan Suckup with the last-second field goal over the Green Bay Packers. I like it a lot. Landon, thanks a lot. Let me go ahead and fire those cannons for you right there. And I'll go ahead and give you this right here. There we go. So, all right. Thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you. We'll see you on the pregame show on Sunday morning. All right? All right. Welcome to the Sports Web. Hello.
Pete, what's up, bud?
What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing, man?
I know what we got on right now. This is Curtis right now. That we are talking with. Absolutely one of my favorite web heads. And you're on. I'm going to take Bernie off the screen there. There you go. Bernie's off the screen. He's done for the night. We got yours truly along with Mr. Harry the Greek, my professional handicapper. So how do you feel about
Harry? What's up, bud?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I don't know. Well, I got a couple things I want to say. The first thing I want to say is in the next couple days, if I catch any Green Bay Packers fans, I'm giving them a Stone Cold Stunner wherever they stand at. I don't care.
I love it. I love it. Here we go.
I'm not even joking.
Woo! Yeah, give him a stone cold stunner, give him a chop to the chest, if you will. Hell,
I might even give him a people's elbow. I'm
there
not
you
even
go.
joking right now.
Give him a rock bottom too while you're at it. Bunch of jabronis.
I'm hoping that we run the ball down Green Bay's throat.
Yeah.
And I've been kind of looking at their defense, and I mean, the defense on the ends and kind of, even their corners, they're okay. But I feel like running it up the gut, their linebackers, and their defensive tackles, I don't think they can handle the pressure.
You don't think they can handle the pressure? All right. I like that.
I think we could run it straight down their throat, especially with Jensen and Marpet going straight up the gut like that, running behind those two big guys. And I want to take my hat off to Jensen, man, because, a couple of years ago, he was known as one of the nastiest offensive linemen in the league. And,
sure.
He's got his stuff together, and he's not been causing as much penalties and ruckus as he has in the past.
And that's huge, because I tell you right now, those mental mistakes, they cost you those yards that you can't really see on the stat sheet, but you get out of those manageable situations on second and third down with holding penalties or just stupid stuff, just 15-yard penalties, stuff like that. It's not good. So, but he was playing hard, and I really think he set the tone last week with that offensive line. They came out and really dominated that Saints line. And they got a challenge this week against the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they really do. Packers are playing well defensively.
Listen, I don't doubt anybody in the NFL. Those guys, they didn't make it there because, they're pushovers. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
They're all professionals, and I respect that. I take my hat off to them, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But, sorry, I'm a Bucs fan, and I don't give a damn about no cheeseheads. And like I said, I'm giving boots to asses to any cheesehead I see in the next couple days. And actually, my question is for Harry.
All right.
I wanted to know, what do you think about this Kansas City Buffalo game?
You know what? That's a great question. But I did predict after week 6 or week 7 that these two teams would be facing off in the AFC Championship game. And I'm going to say the same thing today as I said then. Buffalo will beat Kansas City in Kansas City.
Wow, there you go. So that's your.
I hope so. I hope you're 100% correct. And I think I've talked to Peter about this Wednesday because my cousin is a Buffalo Bills fan, and he's been a Buffalo Bills fan forever, and I've been a Bucs fan forever. And, my headline for Buffalo is going to be Tom Brady sticks it to Buffalo again. That's going to be my headline after the Super Bowl.
It's certainly possible, my friend. You can definitely see that. And the way Buffalo's playing right now offensively, with Josh Allen being one of the great young quarterbacks in the league. People talk about Patrick Mahomes, but you definitely need to open that conversation up to Allen the way he's played. Again, they don't run the ball necessarily, but boy, they have lots of weapons, namely a Stephon Diggs, and people saying, Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, you have a Stephon Diggs, you have a John Brown, you have a Cole Beasley. So they definitely have their weapons. And then on top of it, defensively, I think Buffalo has really shut out some teams, namely they shut out the Baltimore Ravens. So who knows? Can they match up versus Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs? We shall see on Sunday. Harry thinks so. And I tell you right now, I wouldn't go against them because the way Buffalo is playing right now, who's to say they can't make a run to the Super Bowl and face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which would be interesting. The last time they were, their first Super Bowl was actually at the old Sombrero Tampa Stadium, one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time, in my opinion. The New York Giants versus the Buffalo Bills. Of course, it comes down to a field goal at the end from Scott Norwood. And as we all know, Norwood misses it. And the Bills, after that, lose another 3 straight Super Bowls. So a 4-time loser. So, of course, they're looking to prove something, but a totally different Bills team than that team back then with Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas and Andre Reed and James Lofton. That's for sure.
Well, here's my thing.
Okay.
Like I said, we had this conversation the other day. Don't get me wrong. Patrick Mahomes is a great player.
Sure.
He's got a great team around him. It's not like, what I'm saying, he's doing it out there by himself.
Sure.
But they can be beat. And I keep telling people, stop believing in the hype.
Right.
Anybody can be beat. And an 18-0 New England team lost to a Giants team that nobody thought they were going to lose.
Right. I believe they were underdog versus the Bucs in that wild card game. Of course, that would be the last time the Bucs made the playoffs. They get beat 24-14. Brandon Jacobs leading the way there with Eli Manning. And again, that rotation of defensive players and a Justin Tuck, a Michael Strahan, and OCU Minora. I mean, the list goes on and on. A Barry Cofield. I mean, the defense punches you in the mouth. And that's my question here, Harry, to you. Are the Chiefs good enough defensively to shut down the Buffalo Bills, or could this be a shootout? And if it is a shootout, does it favor the Buffalo Bills?
Yes.
Okay.
Simple as that. It does favor Buffalo, because I'm going to tell you right now, Allen can throw pass for pass and touchdown for touchdown with Patrick Mahomes. The difference is Buffalo's defense is better than Kansas City's. Number one. Number two, Allen doesn't throw as many ill-advised passes when he's rolling out of the pocket like Patrick Mahomes does, i.e. what happened in the Miami Dolphin game. How about coughing it up 3 times? All 3 of those picks were to back where we're actually going cross field. And Patrick Mahomes has a tendency that Blake Anthony has pointed out time and time and time again. When he runs and he wants to escape the pressure, it's always to his right every single time.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Well, my thing is, and Harry and Peter, both of y'all, the Bucs could have beat Kansas City. We beat ourselves in that game.
Correct. And the bad defensive game plan. Let's just put it out there. Carlton.
Miami could have beat Kansas City. Atlanta could have beat Kansas City. Tampa could have beat Kansas City. Kansas City almost lost to 3 other teams.
Atlanta. You talked about Atlanta.
The Panthers. The Panthers were, excuse my phrase, the Panthers were on their ass that game.
Yep.
The whole game.
Yep. You're exactly right.
I was intrigued. I was like, oh my God, Carolina is balling right now.
Yep.
Well, by the way, Peter, that was one of the games that you and I had.
Yes, you're exactly right. It was. So.
Because, I mean, if you just go and look at, that Bucs game, because I just rewatched it the other day, Kansas City's offense was pretty much a no-show in that second half.
Yeah, and a lot of people say, well, they took their foot off the pedal, and I'm like, well, how about give credit to where credit is due? Todd Bowles and that defensive staff made adjustments to shut down that Kansas City Chief offense, and of course, it was kind of similar to what they did versus the Browns when they needed a 4th down conversion. For some unknown reason, Tyreek Hill was wide open. Same thing in that Bucs game. Tyreek Hill gets a big time, I believe it's a 3rd down conversion on it, to move the chains, and that's basically academic at that point. So you're exactly right. They can be beaten. It's just the thing of, can the Buffalo Bills put it all together with a lot, not having fans? That definitely is a favorable advantage. And then the way, like Harry has said, that defense of Kansas City not necessarily playing well. I'm not sure if they match up versus this Buffalo Bills offense.
No,
and I think, that could be the key there looking forward. But, both of these games this weekend, Bucs versus the Packers, and of course, Kansas City versus the Buffalo Bills. This is everything that the National Football League wants. It's
going to be a great week of championship football.
That's
the weekend of championship football.
And it's so funny because you have NFC. It's almost like the All-Star game in Major League Baseball, right? You have the National League, which has all these veterans, and you have the American League with all these young kids. You look at the NFC right now, Rodgers, older quarterback, Brady, an old quarterback. And then on the AFC side, you have a Josh Allen, who's a young quarterback, and Patrick Mahomes. So it's kind of like it's very interesting and how this all works out, and see what teams come out. And I think it's going to be Tampa. And I don't know. I said Kansas City, but I keep on going back and forth. Like, Harry has a great point. It could be the Buffalo Bills. It could be Tampa versus the Buffalo Bills. And Super Bowl 55, what a hell of a matchup that would be. So, offensive player that stands out in this game, Curtis. Defensive player that stands out in this game, in your opinion, and give me a prediction.
I heard the last guy, Adam, say Mike Evans, and I kind of agree with that.
Okay.
But I'm going to go with Brady's security blanket, and I'm going to say Gronk is going to have a huge game.
See, I think that could be a possibility, because I don't necessarily know if the Packers defense, although, right, I mean, they may keep him in there to block, but I just feel like in cold weather situations, who are you going to depend on other than a Rob Gronkowski to get in that middle of that defense? I think it's certainly impossible for him to have a big game, but we'll see.
Other than that, you could honestly say it's going to be either him or Brady, because Brady has been tearing it up the last couple of weeks.
Absolutely. So, Definitely.
You know, I do want to clarify one thing because he asked me who I liked in the game, and I was pretty quick to say that I really liked Buffalo Bills.
Sure.
Look, for people that are going to be wagering this game, you don't have to be a maniac and just bet them on the money line. They're giving you points for a reason. Take them.
Oh yeah.
Okay. They are giving you the points, but if you don't take the points, obviously your return, you're not going to have any juice in case you don't cover. But if you bet 100 right now, you're going to clear 180, on the money line. But if you feel more comfortable with the 3.5 or the 4 points, you just take the points. It's just as simple as that. I just really like Buffalo in this game.
All right, there you go. So the Buffalo Bills. All right, so defensive player, and then give me a prediction unless you want to wait until the pre-show.
No, I'm gonna give you a prediction anyway.
Okay.
I actually like Antoine Winfield to have a huge game.
Wow, really? I mean, there's questions if he's even going to play in this game because of the ankle injury. He's questionable. So you like Winfield to come out, not only play in this game, but also have a big one, huh?
If he plays, there's what? Let me tell you something. Not to dwell on the past, but I used to love Justin Evans, and I had a lot of faith in that kid.
Right.
And he just couldn't get healthy for whatever reason. And Winfield has shown all of us how special he really could be.
Mm-hmm.
And the kid has been playing his ass off. And like Bruce Arians said the other day, that kid should have been defensive rookie of the year. And if not Winfield, if he doesn't play, I'm another wild card I'm gonna give you. I feel like Whitehead is gonna have a good game.
That's certainly possible. One of these safeties could definitely have a big game. I go with the hot hand here. Devin White to me is a guy that's
that's a no. But see, that's a no-brainer.
Right.
That's a no-brainer because he's going to be following Aaron Jones and Dylan and all those guys.
Right.
Those guys aren't going to be able to do anything.
No.
I say don't fix something that ain't broke.
That's it. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. All right. Give me a prediction, Curtis.
I said the other day it was going to be a low-scoring game. But
Okay.
I don't believe it is.
Okay.
People usually say it's a low-scoring game because of the snow. The snow is crap, okay? I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. I know about the snow, and I'm going to say it's going to be about 30 to 25.
30-25. All right.
That ain't low scoring. Then you like the over then.
He likes the over on that, definitely. And,
Yeah,
and
I think it's going to be low scoring in the first half, but the way Leftwich and Bowles have learned how to adjust this team in the second half of games,
right.
They're going to come out on fire just like they did last week.
Okay. All right. They're going to come out on fire. So there you go. I like it there. Let me go ahead and fire those cannons for Curtis. Good stuff. And I'll go ahead and give him this too. Woo! There you go. Mr. Curtis, thanks a lot for calling the Evolution. We'll see you on the pregame show or the postgame edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. All right, boss?
All right, man. You guys take it easy, all right?
All right. Appreciate that. Curtis from Newport Richie. Let me go back out to the webheads here. Read some of these comments. Running attack is a possible. Snow game has come up big. J-Dog again. He has been dropping a lot. I think they might have something to do with he doesn't drop balls, but he has been lately, and that would be Chris Godwin. I think he's talking about that. Let's see here. I don't like how they have done my boy Godwin. Okay, we read that. Don't rule out Scooter doing the business as wide receiver for the Bucs. We have not. Tom says running attack again. You can says Brait. You can again. What's the 7-day forecast, Dennis? You heard it was good weather. Florida's most trusted meteorologist. Absolutely. Russ says put pressure on Rodgers and their offense is average. Russ again. Bucs secondary has grown up. William, I doubt Vea will have much of an impact. He probably won't have much lower body strength. If we can get to SB, it would be much better. So the Super Bowl, you'd be much better. I guess that's what he's saying. J-Dog says if OJ comes back now, a bit too late, but it would be cool. Let me go out to Todd. Todd, welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with my professional handicapper here, the Greek Mr. 88% going up to 89. And we're about to go out after this to Mr. Rick Hughes, some of the cheap seats, what's cooking in the South. What do you have to say here, Todd?
Well, I'm on the fence with this game too, Peter and Harry. Of course, I'm going to be rooting for the Bucs. I've been a fan since '76. I love the team. I think, I think this has been everybody's prediction. I think we have to run the ball, play ball control, and keep that other number 12 over there on the sideline.
Yep.
And I think Fournette and Jones will come through for us. And like you say, the middle of that defense is not all. They're not like the Saints.
No.
That defense is nothing like the Saints. I think they're vulnerable. I think the running game will open up some passing for Brady.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be a very close game.
Very close game. All right.
I'm going to make a prediction here that the victim of volume.
Oh, I like it right there. Let me go ahead and give him that. Very good. The victim of volume. What's he going to do in this game?
He's the offensive player of the game.
Okay.
And I think that the defensive player of the game is really easy. The maniac number 45 is a monster.
Yeah, I mean, Devin White is just playing at another level right now.
Last week,
yeah,
he got a fumble. He intercepted the ball. He was all over the field. Him and Levante David are special.
They are.
And I believe Devin White he's going to step up and he's going to have a big game.
Yeah, I know. I agree with that. I like that prediction. Of course, coming off the 11 tackle effort versus the Saints, fumble recovery and interception late in the game. So I agree with you on that because of Aaron Jones and because of the running back stable the Packers have, and because he is so active and he's a big part of what this defense and Todd Bowles does. I definitely think there's a certain possibility of White being a defensive standout. How do you like this game? You said a close game. What's your score prediction?
I'm going to say 24-20.
Wow, 24-20. Bucs over the Packers. Harry, how do you feel about that score prediction by Mr. Todd?
Any prediction is going to be good right now because 24-20, it's about 50-50 with the predictions. We've had one person dead on the over and under, which you can't predict. And we've had another person over, and now we have one under. So the next one's going to be the deciding factor.
I like it. I like it a lot. All right, good stuff, Todd. Anything else?
No, that's it. Let's go get them. Let's get a win and let's bring them back home to our stadium.
Our house.
Our house. I love it. In our house.
In the middle of the street.
Our house. All right, good stuff. Let me go ahead and fire those cannons right there. Good stuff. And let me go ahead and give you a woo. Absolutely. And I think Bucs fans will be feeling like that after the game against the Packers. Good stuff, Todd. Thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you, okay?
Yes, sir. You guys have a great night. Thank you.
That guy's becoming one of my favorite web heads here because he always calls in and is very consistent. Let's continue. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Even if we can get 40% of snaps out of Vea, then that would be massive. Russ, again, Brady is a beast in the playoffs every year. He's there. Russ says no zone, blitz, and blitz. Paulie says, my point is they were adaptable. Played Brees short and man in week 6. Played zone and were effective versus Rodgers. Dustin says, let's go Bucs. Russ says again, oh, my bad. Rodgers will be carried away on a stretcher. Wow. Bucs report with the fire. I like that. Blitz versus the Pack in week 6 was a massive factor in the win. Landon, that's why AB is a true number 1. Critical situation, AB will show up. Critical situations, he does show up, but he will not play in the game. Get 18 involved more. Jim says Tampa Bay Buccaneers by 14. Wow, look at that. Smilegate says, nah, bro. Vaughn's going to keep fumbling. I don't know if he's going to play. I don't think he's going to play.
Get the ball.
Right. We can't go for third down bombs 40 yards down the field either if we just need to get a couple yards. I mean, that was one of the things we talked about during the season, and also it appeared in that Saints game. And I get it. You have Gronk open and possibly you're going for Antonio Brown. But again, it does not make any sense if you need 1 or 2 yards to go deep. Do you think we see that again in this Bucs game, or once again, are they going to follow short and, take those manageable third downs and do what they need to do to extend drives, or are they going to go deep like they've done when it's 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2?
Oh, Bruce Arians can't help himself. Of course he's going to go deep, Peter. But they have been running the ball a lot more.
Sure.
A lot more, which is why they're going to be able to pass a lot more efficiently.
Yep.
That I was alluding to that earlier in the show today. I was talking about it in the previous 2 shows with you. As long as they're consistent at running that football, which they will be, because Green Bay couldn't stop a cold from coming into their backfield, honestly, because they're not that good against the run. Once that happens and they play a little bit close to the vest, trust me, Brady and the boys will open it up. You'll get 2 or 3 really good deep shots downfield, and hopefully they convert at least 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah, and I think Godwin could be the guy. I don't know why. I just continue to say Brady's very comfortable with him. Not saying that Evans, but you have Jair Alexander. You know that the Packers, if they want to, they can bracket coverage, and that's where Godwin could open up Scotty Miller and a Tyler Johnson, but especially a Godwin. And because he's had so many drops lately, I think he could be due. All right. If Vea's good enough to play, I think people, I don't know what that means. Like, people are fools. Nobody. Russ says, I think Buccaneers intercept Rodgers a bunch in the last meeting. They did a couple times. I think people are downplaying the left tackle there. Bakhtiari out, Vea in. Could be a different day for Rodgers. Agree with that? Is that a factor where that favors a Shaq Barrett and possibly a JPP? And because Vea is coming back in the fold, and you would expect that interior line to double and triple team on him, and also those defensive tackles that, possibly that outside edge could have a big day because of that left tackle and how good he is for Rodgers.
You know what? It's kind of a long-winded explanation, honestly. After that terrible loss, that Green Bay suffered against Tampa, there was something that I noticed that they were doing. They were leaving their tackles out on an island. They never made that mistake. That particular game against Tampa, and that embarrassment that they went through when they got blown out in that game, they haven't made that mistake anymore. They do keep their running back in. They keep their tight end in. They're constantly giving their tackles a lot of help. Now let's fast forward. Bakhtiari hasn't been available for the entire playoffs. Okay. And even if I'm not mistaken, he missed the last couple of games of the season. They haven't had any problems, even with the backups in there, because they're still using not max protection, but a really good, they're using a lot of different schemes to protect, their second string players, especially on the tackle.
All right. Good stuff. Let me go back out to these guys here. Let's see. Paulie says, Harry Cameron Braid over under 26.5 receiving yards.
Over.
Okay, there you go. Fred says Bucs will win Sunday. Fred again, Tyler Johnson might have a big game with Brown out. You agree with that? A rookie stepping up? Could it be a Tyler Johnson having a big game? Is that possible? Anything's possible, but is it more possible for a guy like Johnson to step up in this game and have a big game if an Evans or a Godwin are shut down?
Well, yes and no. I mean, I wouldn't trust the fact of bringing Tyler Johnson in this particular stage. Why risk it? He's not battle tested yet. Do I think he's going to be a really good wide receiver? The key word, future. He has not been battle tested yet. Does he get a couple of balls thrown his way? Probably. But I'm telling you now, I keep hearing Jair Alexander. He cannot cover Mike Evans in this game.
Okay.
He's a good corner. Mike Evans is going to get a minimum of 8 targets in this game, minimum. And I'm telling you, he's going to have this is my own feeling. What I've watched, that is the one matchup I absolutely love, is this weekend.
Okay. All right. I'm going to take your word for it because I know that you definitely watch film. Again, we're going to get Rick Hughes on here in just a little bit. Stand by, Rick. He's got a special guest with him also. This should be a good running day for Tampa. Gronk is a great blocker. Christopher Cole says, pound the rock, hit the tight ends on the play action. David says, Miller will make a big play, no doubt. Let's go, boys. David, again, ball security, running the ball will be a premium. Protect the ball. Tampa has this. Exactly, says Paul. Russ says, Gronk and Godwin will help the Bucs the most. Russ again, defense, JPP, and offense. Godwin are standouts. Eric says, let me in, Peter.
No.
Eric, we got guests tonight. I promise you I will let you in a show, maybe the post-game edition, but you can always call in, guys. 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web, brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts. For all your auto parts needs, it's Advanced Auto Parts. And tell them Bucs Report and Peter Blake sent you again, along with Harry the Greek, my professional handicap. Yes, sir.
Where's our buddy at?
Oh, we're going to get him in a minute. Let me read the rest of these comments. 34-31.
No, the other buddy.
Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy. I think his dog basically knocked down the camera there.
Oh, I'm talking about Brian.
Oh, Brian. Oh, he's done. He was early on and he trolled a little bit. Then he went back to his mom's basement.
I had his favorite song queued up.
Well, go ahead. Go for it. Bucs 45-31. Okay, yeah, wait. Russ says, Brady, 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. Jeez, Russ. Packers will run the ball a lot. Christopher Cole says, hey, guess what came out today? The first mock draft for 2021, and I'm glad we're not talking about that yet. Laugh out loud. Speaking of laughing out loud, Mr. Rick Hughes from the Cheap Seats, What's Cooking in the South, and he has a great impression of Brian Pearson, the Saints troll here. And, of course, he has a special guest tonight. Let me go out to your special guest. There you go. Rick Hughes from the Cheap Seats, What's Cooking in the South. What's going on there? Bernie Sanders in the building, huh?
Yeah, me and Bernie, but he's kind of mad because I was talking. He's giving me the silent treatment. I was asking him earlier. I was talking to him about the game, and he wanted to redistribute the points to the losers. I told him that's not how it works, and he got really mad. So now he's giving me the silent treatment. I don't know. What are you gonna do?
Oh no, we had him on here. He came in here. I mean, where's Bernie Sanders in your place there, Harry the Greek? He's not there. He's not invited.
Bernie in my house. Zero chance. You got an over and under on that one, guys? I'm sorry. Let me repeat it again. No Bernie Sanders in my house.
Feeling the burn? You're not feeling the burn?
No, I'm not feeling the burn. By the time he knew how much money I won this year, I'd probably end up with Owen money.
What'd you have for dinner? You might be feeling the burn a little later, but I mean, it depends on what you have for dinner.
What did I have for dinner? I had brown mittens and I don't know. I have no idea, man. What did I have?
I had something from DiGiorno. It was like I guess it was like it looked like a Hot Pocket, but it was actually like a Stromboli or something.
Looked like a Hot Pocket, like a Pop-Tart?
Delivery?
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was not delivery. It was DiGiorno. Just
that's the commercial. There you go.
I can't say
awesome.
Right in it.
Awesome.
Well, first, Rick, I got to get your Brian Pearson impression tonight. He's not in here, I don't think. So
here you go. Rick will remember this.
Go ahead, Rick.
Hey, Brian. So, folks, I'm here rooting for the New Orleans Saints. That's the perfect music for it. You got the banjo going. It's super.
That just called him back out. That's like seeing Beetlejuice.
That's right. That's right. I bet you he could actually smell that music was playing. You know?
Brian, where are you?
Oh man,
I don't know.
Brian, Bernie wants to take care of you, buddy.
Well, he does, and you got Eric Moreno who wants to come in, so we'll have to have Eric in sometime. We'll get him in.
Bring them all at one time.
Right.
Oh my God, I would pay for that experience.
Hold on, Brian, Bernie, Eric, who else?
Oh, get me in there. Come on. Please.
Okay, hang on. You're in the upper left-hand corner. Peter's in the middle, and I'm on the right, and we'll put Tampa Bay Ray in the bottom. Now we'll have the Buccaneer bunch.
And then you have Ruth in there, too, because Ruth for Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy was trying to knock over the camera tonight.
The devil made him do it.
That's it. Exactly.
It's all love, Eric. He knows that.
It is. Yes.
So here is the deal about this game. Okay, I've done a lot of thinking about this game, and I got a pretty strong opinion about this.
Mm-hmm.
As time has gone along, and as I keep processing it and keep thinking about it and trying to be reasonable and fair and trying to really genuinely, okay, what do I think is going to happen? Let's remove emotion. Let's do this. And I've tried, and as the week's gone along, I really think that, you know how there are some teams that are good matchups for other teams?
Mm-hmm.
Harry, I'm not sure you're going to agree with me on this, but I believe this is a great matchup for the Bucs.
I agree with you.
Okay, because the Bucs, so if the Bucs run the ball, the Packers, I mean, this is not a good thing for the Packers because you're keeping their offense off the field. If the Packers are giving up 5 yards per run, do you know what that's going to do? I mean, Aaron Rodgers is going to have like 2 or 3 drives in the first half. I mean, that's not literally, but I mean, my point being, this is taking the ball away from their strength.
That was a narrative that I pounded the entire half of the show. You probably didn't hear what I was saying.
No, I didn't get a chance.
They're going to run the ball. They run 50-50. They split that up, Rick.
Yep.
You are absolutely 1,000,000% correct. If Tampa runs the football, not only are they going to have success, but they win this game.
Right.
But
and that's
we get that team that's going to actually do that? That's the problem.
That's the question, and that's what's going on in my mind. And everybody's talking about is the cold weather going to affect them? Not at all. I don't even think it's a factor. I don't even think it's worth discussing.
You gotta be careful there. He looks pretty mean. He looks like a mean.
Just ask Bernie, man.
Ask Bernie.
He's not talking to me. I'm telling you, man. He wants to redistribute the points in the game, and I told him it doesn't work that way, so he won't talk to me. He's mad.
Oh, he looks like he's mad, especially when you touch him on the shoulder on with Rick Hughes from the cheap seats. What's cooking in the South? Of course, Mr. Harry the Great.
I could always be like Joe Biden and get behind him and smell him.
Oh, jeez.
we could get all the memes in right now.
Yeah,
you're pretty. Get them all going.
You're pretty.
Oh yeah.
If you have a question for these gentlemen on the game, offensive standout, defensive standout, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. 2 injury questions for you, Rick. And I know how you feel about injuries, but Antonio Brown's not going to play in this game. He was ruled out today. Vita Vea has been activated. What's the impact of both of those players? One missing and, of course, one coming back.
Okay, the biggest impact with Vea won't come this week. It'll come in the Super Bowl if they get him some work and if they win the game. So that then the fact that they will have gotten him some work, getting him in a little more football shape, then he's got 2 weeks to prepare. So I think that's where the real impact of Vea is coming, but it's nice to have that kind of depth at that position. Now, AB, look, he's been really good lately.
Oh yeah.
But having said that,
that's a big loss, Rick.
I agree. But having said that, if there's a position that you can take a loss, it's the wide receiver position. There may not be any better position to take a loss. There's not any good position. Don't get me wrong. Now there's going to be like 5,000 comments saying I'm saying it's no big deal.
Bernie, please stop hitting him.
Yeah, stop. Stop
Use your left hand, okay? No, seriously, man. The left is going to get very upset with you.
He's on the right now.
Rick, but you stepped into it along with
there you go.
Oh my God, goodness gracious.
So look, I think that they can weather it with AB, but it sucks. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that it doesn't suck. It does. But what did he do last week?
It didn't do much of anything. It was
that's a tougher defense.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I agree. I'll tell you what, let's go out to the webheads here. A question for Harry. Eric says, Harry, how many completions will Brady and Rodgers combine for? Sorry if you've already answered it, but go ahead and how many let's again read the question. How many completions will Brady and Rodgers combine for?
I'm going to say 52.
Okay, 52. All right.
52.
All right, there you go, Eric. Eric Moreno. I'm here, Peter. What's up, guys? Do I need a link? We're not going to get anybody on right now. Eric again, and Harry, what's your passing?
He's trying hard, man. Yeah. He's trying hard.
He is.
Come on, man. Let me on. I think Eric may have done some Red Bull tonight. He's like, let me on. Come on, man. Let me on. Let me on. I want to be on. Come on, man. Let me on. Come on, Peter. I want to be on. Come on. I had some Red Bull. I'll be great on the show. I really will be good. Come on, man.
Harry, what's your passing and rushing stat predictions for each team? Completions, attempts, and yardage. Thanks. Make me rich. Laugh out loud. There you go.
Eric, you're going to have to tune in for the pregame show this Sunday, starting at 12:30, for those actual predictions.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's a teaser right there, guys. We'll be live at the.
And seriously, I'm going to have a lot of predictions for that game. I'm going to have every statistic, not every proposition bet known to man, from the coin toss to how many penalties to safeties, interceptions, completion, rushing yards, pass attempts, targets. I mean, everything. Any questions that you have, I can give you the answer. Not the answers, but I'll give you an opinion too. Just ask Rick, because I want Rick to join me on this one. I wish you were here, buddy. You'd be sitting right next to me in that second shot outside, Rick. We'd have so much fun with that.
Oh yeah,
I'm telling you.
I'm just thrilled to death that my boss came up to me and said, "What time's your game this week?" And I said, "A little after 3." And he goes, "Okay, you're out of here before 3." So
boss, right?
Right, that's a good boss. It's a good boss. And he said, if you win, you got Super Bowl Sunday off. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
Can you set Bernie up with me on Sunday morning, please?
Can I hook Bernie up with you?
Yeah, no, I want Bernie to be levitated over the water by the fountain as Jesus is rising from the sun. Okay. I mean, I think it would be pretty cool, but he's got to be wearing the gloves and the jacket.
I just think having him sitting in the background on the deck.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, just quietly sitting in the background on the deck. Just, you know.
Why do I feel like Bernie Sanders has become like Weekend at Bernie's? I mean, that's what
well, come on. Could there be a better example? I mean, you even look at him. It's like his hands are on pulleys.
Can you imagine? Right. Can you imagine Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy and Bernie Sanders together? I mean, that's money, is it not, guys?
With Bernie's hands, because they do look a little stiff.
Yeah.
You can go get a lube oil and filter. All the parts for all your auto part needs at Advance Auto Parts.
I love it.
Peter, I want to tell you how much I am looking forward to this weekend, because I'm probably going to get fired after this weekend. If you guys tune into my shows the next couple of days, I'm probably going to get fired. So come on, you guys, come on my show. Say one last goodbye, because what's about to go down the pipe? Oh my God.
And listen, we're never going to fire you here, but I was thinking your boss is telling you basically you're out of here at 3. That could be, you're
out of here at 3.
That can be interpreted as many things. Okay, you can go home and watch the game, or basically in my business with doing sales, log out and go home. You're out. And of course, I'm not going to work during the game besides, for Bucs Report. But if I had another job, I just wouldn't have another job, because I've done that before. I worked at radio like a long time ago, and I was trying to watch a game. I think it was the Bears and the Bucs at the time, and I couldn't watch it, and people were bothering me. And I'm like, look, why are you bothering me? I'm trying to watch the game. My boss comes over, taps me on the shoulder, goes, you're working right now. And I'm like, yeah, but I told you not to on this game. I got to watch this game. And I actually think it was not the Bears. It was actually the Packers versus the Bucs.
Oh, wow.
And I believe it's in 98. I'm believing it's 1998. It's not 97.
With the Warren Sapp game. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's going to be me, by the way. I'm going to be standing outside with my key card going, beep, beep. It's not working. It's not working. Oh, look, they won't even let me in because they want me to watch the game so bad.
Hey, Rick, can you just give us a little tease? Just a smidgen. Peter, will you allow it?
No. I don't have it. I can't.
Hey, you're full screen. You got to do it.
No, I don't have the ability to give you a full. I don't have the ability.
That, Peter, you see, he's selfish now.
No, it's just, all I can tell you is, you want to be around for words of wisdom both nights. You want to be there. There's a brand new, there's a brand new segment called Litterbox Talk with the foul mouth producer.
So I like the producer. Your producer should get with Turbo and what's the other that you have there, Harry?
Inky, Turbo.
Yeah.
Honestly, let's just give it to the animals. Let's just have an So we have Bucs Animals, we have Rick's producer, foul mouth producer, we have Harry's cats, and of course, to top it off, we have my dog Alexander, who's been wanting a show forever now. That's why he's so quiet. Usually, he's
don't forget Ruthie.
And then for Ruthie, we just have Bucs Report Animals. And
there you go.
I feel like that's going to be gold, because everybody's going to tune in to our shows more than they tune in to some people's shows. And animals on them, and they're gonna.
I'm telling you, it's horrible. It's against my better judgment to do this segment, but I've been mandated. It's in my contract. I have to do it. It's something that I have to have. The producer wanted time on the show. I was against the entire idea. The condescending stare I get the entire show. And, I had no choice. I had to, it's in my contract. It's against my better judgment, but it's happening. And of course we will do the segment, Stupid Stuff Bucs Fans Say. So we'll have all of that this weekend.
Stupid. Brian won't be part of that show.
We are doing a double whammy. I'm going to do live from the cheap seats both Saturday and Sunday night, and I may not have a job by the end of it.
Well, at least we know that your manager is cool and rooms to go because he's giving you off before the game, and of course, giving you off Super Bowl Sunday.
Yep.
You should just come down here to Tampa. I mean, honestly, just make a trip down here again. We'll have like the whole crew. We'll have Harry and Rick and Ray and try to.
Who knows? If I don't get fired by Bucs Report, maybe that'll happen. Who knows?
I don't think we're gonna fire you. I'm pretty sure of it.
Just tune in, guys.
Different protection, and he will throw 4 or 5 touchdowns. Eric says, "Ha, it's 2 different Erics." Rick, Eric,
there's a big difference, Eric.
Yes,
Eric Scott. There's a very big difference.
Say no more, Harry. I'll be there, and let me go ahead and do this. This is there you go, right there. So, let me have you finish that point. Vita Vea, his impact on this defensive line, Rick. What do you think it's going to be?
Okay, I think Vea, just the fact that the concern is getting him stuck on the field, but that the impact is this: when in the Super Bowl is where the major impact will be felt. But as far as Sunday is concerned, I think you've got this. I think if nothing more, you've got a big body. You call him a big body. That's like saying the Pope's a little Catholic. Okay. I mean, this is a massive mountain of a human being with an enormous amount of strength. And what's going to happen? Did you know that I heard a statistic and I heard it on the internet, so it has to be true. That do the Bucs have the second most quarterback hits of any team this year?
I believe that is it's something like 116 quarterback hits. So I believe that's true.
Okay, if that's the case, that's just one more thing to make me feel great about this game because, look, this is one. You're not going up against the Saints this week. I don't know how else to say that. Now the Packers have done well, but the Packers, they've the schedule that they played and the timing that they played teams is not. It's stupid to say this about a team that's 14-2,
right?
I think they were, but they look beatable to me. Am I crazy about that? I don't understand it. I try to be realistic.
You're not crazy. They look beatable because their defense isn't all that good. What makes this team very scary is that offense.
Yeah.
That's what makes that team scary.
Who's got the better defense?
Oh my God, by far it's Tampa.
Yeah, that's where I'm
at. Just said to me, exactly, honestly, Peter, and you'll flash back on this. Tell me this doesn't remind you of the Super Bowl that the Bucs were in before.
Mm-hmm. It does.
This feels like a rematch with the Raiders.
Well, coming into that game, of course, you had John Gruden, who knew the Raiders' offense, but the big-time prowess was number 1 offense versus number 1 defense. And as we all know, when it's that way, number 1 defense always is always the lead one that will win the game. And you look at the matchup, you have the Packers, who have a phenomenal offense, have a great quarterback who's winning the MVP, and consequently, Rich Gannon at that time, I believe, was also the MVP of the league, and that defense absolutely stifled him. And I'll tell you right now, I would not be surprised that this defense does some of those things. I think it's going to be a close game, but I still think there could be some turnovers. And if there's a turnover,
you guys are all chickens.
I'm telling you.
Game. Oh, it's a close game.
Well,
Come on, Peter. Tell us what you're really
Peter, I can't
feeling.
go on. I can't go on your pregame show. Okay.
You know what I really think? I think I'm going to save that prediction, but I may be changing my mind because Harry called me out. So
Yes, I did. Go for it.
Peter, I can't go on the pregame show. All right. Because I'll be working until 3, so basically just before 3 o'clock.
Well, you could do a show from Rooms to Go.
But let me say this, and against this guy's wishes over here, because he wants everything to be equitable and close. But the thing is, against this guy's wishes, I don't think this game's going to be as close as everybody is saying. Okay. I mean, do I think it's going to be a blowout? No. But I'm saying
Green Bay's going to win?
No.
I just wanted to see Rick's face there. There you go. It looked like Bernie's for a second.
33-24.
Okay.
33-24 is how many points? Hold on.
9.
33, 53,
9.
59 points.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. 33-24.
Yeah.
So he likes the over.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Harry's sending me all kinds of. He sent me a text there. All right, Rick.
Should I try and pick his nose or what's down here? I don't know.
I'm telling you. All right, Rick. Thanks a lot for your time, man. We'll see you tomorrow night. We see what you got in store here from the Chiefs.
Oh boy! Everybody, be ready.
Promote your show. What? Oh, look at that. Go ahead and promote your show once again here on Bucs Report. That's so cute.
Okay, 9 o'clock tomorrow night, and probably about 10-ish whenever Peter's done on Sunday. Live from the cheap seats. Be ready. Be ready, guys. Okay, this ain't your mama's show. Okay, this is be ready. I mean, we try to keep it cleanish, but be ready, and it is going to be a ride. We got the new segments coming in. We've got all kinds of things. I mean, be ready. Plenty of surprises in store. Plenty of things that are coming. It's going to be a ride. You never know what to expect. Kind of like, this. You never know what to expect.
There you go. Good stuff. And bring your friend with you on Sunday night. Maybe he's a good luck charm. Rick Hughes from the Cheap Seats. What's cooking in the South? Thanks a lot for your time here on the Evolution. All right.
We would both like to thank you.
Oh, well, thank you, Bernie, and thank you, Rick.
I have one thing to say to Bernie.
Yes.
Okay, Bernie, I have a question for you. I'm in the automotive field, and there is fluids that we use for engine, and then there's one called trans fluid. Is it okay to say trans fluid, or should I say gender nice fluid? Which one is it?
Gender neutral fluid. Okay,
that's right.
Or just gender fluid.
Well, I just want the correct.
I think it's gender fluid.
Okay. I just have to have the correct way to say it. I mean, because everybody knows what trans fluid is, right?
Yeah, it's gender fluid. I got it. Hey, I'm out of here before I get fired tonight and don't get to have the fun this weekend.
All right. See you, Rick. Get out there. There he goes. All right.
Oops. Sorry.
It's all right. All right. Let's go back out to the web ed to read some of the comments. Khalif says 28-17. Bucs over the Green Bay Packers. Want to go out to Greg Rosenthal of NFL.com. He says one more game, and then the Bucs get to travel across the street to be the first team ever to play in their home stadium for the Super Bowl. Wouldn't that be nice? The thing is, the Bucs are going to have to go through Aaron Rodgers and the Packers at their place first. Tampa Bay will battle Green Bay for the NFC Championship this Sunday, and our friends across the major media outlets have some thoughts. Most are picking the Packers, and why wouldn't they? The forecast for Sunday includes snow, a far cry from 75 degrees. It was in Tampa on Friday for practice. Rodgers and company were born from the cold, molded in it, so why shouldn't they emerge from it victorious? He also had this to say: I expect both quarterbacks to ball out Sunday because they will be well protected. One of just a couple pundits to pick the Buccaneers and Lambeau this weekend in a league where pass rushers have supposedly gained the upper hand. The Packers and Bucs offensive line should win up front. Perhaps second-year pass rusher Rashawn Gary's emergence outside will allow Zadarius Smith to get pressure up the middle against backup Bucs guard Aaron Stinney. Perhaps Shaq Barrett can turn the clock back to 2019 for a week against backup Packers tackle Rick Wagner. It's more likely that the quarterbacks will control the pass rush and get rid of the ball like they have all season. Agree with that?
Yeah, kind of. I really do kind of agree with it, but I do think the backup tackle for Green Bay is a lot better than people are giving him credit for. Plus, he's had a lot of help with it. Shaq Barrett is one of those players, as well as Ndamukong Suh, that I'm looking for really, really big games out of. As far as getting rid of the ball quickly, I mean, any brainiac can see that coming. This is Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, for Christ's sakes. 1, 2, 3, throw. 1, 2, 3, throw. But now when you sprinkle a little Bruce Arians, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait. Here comes the bomb. That's what we don't want to get into in this game.
No, I agree. I absolutely agree. Unless you have the pass protection to do it. And speaking of that passing game, this is from Packers Wire, because I was looking for the enemy. Both of these teams have passing games built around vertical concepts. The numbers tell the story. Tom Brady led the NFL in completions on passes over 20 yards, while Aaron Rodgers led the NFL in total passing yards and completions over 20 yards. Both teams are capable of creating the all-important explosive plays, the lifeblood of efficient, high-scoring offenses. The other half of the story, both defenses have been good at taking away big plays, increasing the importance of winning the explosive play battle. On Sunday, the Packers offense generates most of those big plays using play action, a tool they weren't able to utilize much in the first meeting. On defense, Green Bay's cornerbacks need to be strong, misdirecting receivers at the line, and the safeties have to keep Brady from attacking behind the coverage. Agree?
Old news again. I mean, if you're watching these games, that's exactly how the Green Bay Packers are successful. They run the football, they set up the pass, they get the corners looking back into the backfield. That's when they run the play action. By the time that happens, those receivers, especially Lazard, is already right up the seam, and he's already got 2 or 3 steps on you. That's what Tampa has to do in this game. That's what they did in the last game. When they hit the playoffs on first down, they're averaging 10% more runs than they did during the regular season.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the key. That's why I honestly think, I'm not going to say it because you're not getting that prediction until Sunday.
I love it. And we'll be here 12:30 starting you off here live on Bucs Report at the Deck Bar and Grill in Isla del Sol. Great food, great service. Definitely get out there. Also, any preliminary assessment of the game has to include turnovers. It's cliche, just like pressuring the quarterback, but it's also vitally important to deciding big games, especially when one team is so good at avoiding them and one team is so good at creating them. The Packers had an NFL low 11 turnovers and went 11-0 without a turnover this season, but also 3-3 with one or more. The Buccaneer defense produced a takeaway in 16 of their 18 games and finished with 25 takeaways, the 5th most in the NFL. Wow. Of course, the 4 takeaways last week in New Orleans, including 3 interceptions of Drew Brees, represent the primary reason why it's the Bucs and not the Saints coming to Lambeau Field on Sunday. Can Bruce Arians' team win in Green Bay without a takeaway or 2? In the first meeting, Tampa Bay didn't have a turnover or a penalty and didn't give up a sack or a quarterback hit. The Bucs producing another mistake-free game is probably unlikely. Agree with that?
Yes, very much so, actually. Let's touch on what we talked about last Wednesday. I mean, it's just a couple days ago on Wednesday. I said these are going to be the keys to this game. Tampa will struggle in this game if they play defensively in one particular aspect. The same way they played against New Orleans.
Sure.
If all you're doing is putting pressure on Rodgers, that's not going to be good enough. You have got to get him to the carpet, and that's what they did not do against Breeze. Okay, that's first. The second thing is they're going to need 2 turnovers in this game. Without those 2 key factors, Tampa will struggle to win this game. They've got to create pressure, and they're going to have to get a minimum of 2 turnovers, because once you get that turnover, and God forbid they score on one of those turnovers, oh, Lord, now the game's out of reach. But you're going to need to get 2 turnovers in this game, and I feel pretty comfortable. I'm not saying that Tampa can't win without getting any of those 2,
right?
Being successful in any of those 2 categories. But it really will lean very heavy towards Tampa if they create 2 turnovers and get a minimum of 3 sacks on Aaron Rodgers. Because if you get to him 3 times, I mean, you've probably pressured him 8 or 9 times, and that could be a long day for him. And
let's talk about these Packers pass rushers. You have a Jadarius Smith. You have a Preston Smith, and you also have a Rashawn Gary. Concern about those guys, and I think this is where the matchup, where the rubber meets the road, if you will, my professional handicapper, offensive line versus that Packers defensive line. Who do you think is the advantage to? Is it the Bucs offensive line, or is it the Packers defensive line and their pass rushing specialist?
That depends. Green Bay does a really good job when they do blitz. Let me repeat it. When they do blitz, they usually get good pressure because they disguise it very well. They do send it a lot from the corners. They don't really necessarily bring it up the middle. I don't see them run a lot of stunts, but if they do that, that could confuse Tampa's offensive line. But let's stop dreaming. This offensive line's probably played better than any offensive line in football the last 6 games.
Yeah.
When I tell you Tristan Wirfs has been like forget a lawnmower. What do they call those big machines that plow through fields?
I don't know.
Like a bulldozer. I mean, that whole offensive line looks like a bulldozer. I mean, they're just not really letting defenses get to Brady. And New Orleans had a really good defensive front. They had a really good game plan. They did a really good job against Tampa for the most part of the game, but Tampa really did a very good job at keeping Brady upright. And I don't see any reason why they won't do the same against Green Bay. I think Green Bay is going to struggle on that side of it. So I'm going to have to say Tampa's offensive line is probably much more dominant than their defensive line.
And if that's true, you get Brady the necessary time. He could pick you apart. You could definitely pick apart that Packers defense. Definitely. Let's go out to Bucs time 12 here. When pressured, Rodgers holds onto the ball longer than Breeze and scrambles to buy time and play hero ball. That's our chance to hit him. Agree with that?
100%. I've seen a lot of teams take a good shot. He takes a lot of unnecessary shots.
Agree. And you know what? It only takes one shot. I'm not saying the Bucs should be headhunting, but it could be that type of shot that knocks him out of the game, or it could be that type of shot that really fuels this defense, which it seemed like it was when he scored that touchdown, took that big shot. He wasn't the same player, and that defense was definitely fired up with that little discount double check dance. Let's go out to the predictions. NFL.com, of course, Greg Rosenthal takes the Bucs. ESPN.com's consensus says the Packers. They're split on it. USA Today consensus is the Packers, unanimous. Pro Football Talk's Mike Florio takes the Buccaneers. SB Nation's consensus is the Packers split. And CBSSports.com consensus is the Packers, and they're splitting on that.
First off, CBS Sportsline shouldn't even ever be mentioned on Buck Report. They hate every NFC North team that there is other than the Packers. And forget about it. It just drives me insane. I mean, you never can get a solid, accurate prediction from them. So if they like the Pack, just for that, I might be betting the Bucs.
In your opinion, from the national perspective on this, Harry, do you feel like the Packers are the overwhelming favorite, or do you see more of a middle ground here where it seems like some prognosticators are taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? What's the consensus in your opinion? You listen to radio and national media. What are you seeing and what are you hearing?
Well, it just depends on where, what station you're listening to. Like if you're listening to Jim Miller and Pat Kerwin, Jim Miller's a Northern guy. Of course, he's going to probably want to be a little bit more partial to a Green Bay.
Right.
It's 50-50. Everybody has an opinion. They're like certain things and everybody has one. It just depends on what you're watching and who you really think what you're going to like. But the national consensus is going to say that the Green Bay Packers are going to win this game because they're the favorite. But by the time it's all said and done, tomorrow when you wake up, this line's going to go from 4.5 to 4 to 3.5 to 3. Now, let me explain something to you. Yes, that still means that Green Bay is the favorite by 3. If that game was in Tampa, it would be Pick'em, or the Buccaneers would be a 0.5 point to a full point favorite. So that's very encouraging to Buck fans. You don't want to see it at the 4.5 mark. And, because generally that means it's not going to be a Pick'em game on the road.
And you think the trend is basically it's siding with the Bucs in your opinion? Is that what is going on in Vegas right now?
Right now it is. It's starting to side with the Bucs. A lot of money's actually going toward the Bucs. That's why Vegas is trying to get people to bet the Green Bay Packers, because they keep making that line a little bit lower and lower.
I gotcha. All right. Also want to read this, and this is from Packers Wire again. And the game last year, the Packers fell behind 27-0 in the first half versus the San Francisco 49ers and never recovered. 3 years earlier in the same game, they fell behind 24-0 in the first half against the Atlanta Falcons and never recovered. The Packers must reverse the title game trend on the Buccaneers. The showdown is friendly confines at Lambeau Field with fans in the stands and set outdoors at freezing temperatures against a Florida foe that hasn't played a cold weather game all season. Matt LaFleur's offense has scored more points on opening drives than any other team in football. The Packers did create an early 10-0 lead on the Buccaneers in the first meeting, but it melted away thanks to 2 Aaron Rodgers turnovers, a rarity unlikely to happen again. Keep in mind, during each of those last 2 home games, Titans and Rams, the Packers held first-half leads of 2 scores or more, feeding off the energy and any advantages created by the setting at Lambeau Field could give the Packers an important early edge. We talked about that. We really don't think it's going to be that. But, of course, the Bucs don't want to get down 14-0. But interesting, we always talk about fast starts. The Packers this year in the first quarter in their last 2 home games, definitely getting out to a fast start. The Bucs don't want that. They want to get out to a fast start, because if you can get out to a fast start, basically you take the other team's running a game away, right?
Yeah, I mean, the only way you're going to be down 14-0 for either team is if either one of the 2 offenses cough the ball up. Okay, I mean, let's just be real. I honestly think that the Green Bay Packers are going to come out and try to establish a passing game against Tampa Bay, because they want to get them into the trap of trying to go into a passing game. I don't think Tampa's going to do that. I think Tampa is going to sit right back into the running game in the first part of this game. They realize, what Green Bay's strengths are and where Green Bay's weaknesses are. So if they run the ball and Green Bay wants to get into a passing game, it'll be prime opportunity to capitalize on some mistakes. But as far as someone jumping out to an early lead, 14-point lead, one of the offenses will be coughing the ball up if that happens.
Yeah, and you always talk about the momentum and the mo, and I love that word, and you almost feel like the momentum will go against the Packers because of their troubles in NFC Championship games going back to last year. Do you think that will be in their back of their mind, where they have to get out to a fast start, that they don't, and they're down early, that basically it could be curtains for the Packers?
No, not necessarily. I mean, anytime you got Aaron Rodgers under center, you always have a chance with them, no matter how many points you're behind. Now, last year was a different story. First year head coach, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
First year offense for Aaron Rodgers.
Sure.
I mean, they've come a long way since then. But I will tell you something that I've really noticed, and I don't remember if it was you I was talking about this with, and I'm not saying this because I've heard this. This is just an opinion. But I think Aaron Rodgers is not a very good team player. I think he's been very selfish this year. I think he's trying to buy that MVP just for his personal accolades. And to me, that's just not a really good team player. There were a lot of situations where they were down on the goal line and they had very easy touchdowns just by handing the ball off in the backfield. And, they were just passing the ball just to build stats. And I just don't agree with players like that. And if that was the case, I hope they do get beat.
Well, they may definitely. I think they get beat on Sunday, but again,
you've seen that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
You did notice that this year. Was that you that I was talking to you about
Yeah,
that?
I believe so. We did talk about that. And that Aaron Rodgers has a chip on his shoulder, of course, with the drafting of Jordan Love, and people talking about, well, he doesn't necessarily have the wide receivers and they're drafting running backs instead and guys that are not going to make an impact. And here we are once again with this team going back to last year being in the NFC Championship game, but absolutely being thoroughly embarrassed. Now they have the game in their house. To me, all the pressure lies with the Green Bay Packers. So we'll see if they're applying the pressure or feeling the pressure from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday. Give me your final thoughts here. We'll wrap this show up. Once again, my professional handicapper, Mr. Harry the Greek.
What are my final thoughts? My final thoughts are really simple. Keep your bets small. Keep your returns really high. But really, my final thoughts are I cannot wait till Sunday. There's going to be two fantastic games. I can't remember a year, especially as challenging as this one has been, to be able to be blessed enough to have these four teams, arguably the four best teams in football, all playing head to head. Nobody's been lucky to get there to this point. It's all been very well deserved, and I just cannot wait. But those are my final thoughts.
All right, good stuff there. My professional handicapper, Mr. Harry the Greek, 88% going up to 89, 90%. Appreciate your time as always, and we'll see you on the pregame show live from the Deck Bar and Grill starting at 12:30. All right, boss?
Have a really good evening, Peter. Thanks for having me on.
All right, good stuff. There you go, Mr. Harry the Greek. Let me read the rest of these comments, and then we'll get out of here for the night. Laugh out loud. I hope the Bucs are head hunting. And Corey says he not, so I don't know what that means. But again, thanks a lot to all the guests. Dennis Phillips of ABC Action News, Harry the Greek, my professional handicapper, of course, Mr. Rick Hughes from the Cheap Seats, and all the webhead comments here. And who could forget Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay. Thanks to him and Ruth. We will be live on Sunday at 12:30 p.m. getting you ready with our pregame show of the evolution of sports talk television, the sports web, brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts. For all your auto parts needs, it's Advanced Auto Parts. Early on this Saturday morning, guys, only one day away after tonight, Bucs versus the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field, the NFC Championship game. Do three things for me. We'll be back on Sunday morning. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake. See you soon. Will you shut up and be quiet?
What a story this will be. 5:52 left in the fourth. 38-3.
Why was everyone able to be so productive tonight?
2nd and 9 now. This one's picked. Intercepted by the Bucs. It's Murphy bunting down the sideline. He is going to be marked. From the 3, Brady throws, pass caught, Evans touchdown. Tampa Bay on top as he works against Marshawn Lattimore.
Bodies him up. I mean, you're talking about Mike Evans, the size that he has at 6'5". He's able to get inside, use his body like you would in basketball. Brady just tries to stick it on him and let him shield Lattimore off of him.
Eat him! Eat him! Eat him! 3rd down and 2. Quick throw, Cook makes the catch, 1st down, ball's out, and into the arms of Devin White. It's a takeaway by this defense. Good protection again, pass caught, touchdown, Fournette. Second down and 8. Brady off the bench with a big game today. 3rd down and 7. Brady with play action. Makes it 3rd and 11 now. A rare Scotty Miller sighting. And that's who Brady.
The facility. What are you guys being fed up there to be able to shut down the GOAT Tom Brady like that twice?
Well, you say GOAT, like one of the GOATs. He's probably number 2 on the list behind, the quarterback who has 80,000 yards, 80,000 passing yards. But I mean, there's probably another quarterback like there.
Makes it 3rd and 11 now. The throw is what a catch! A rare Scotty Miller sighting. And that's who Brady goes to, and he's got him. Michael Thomas, you see the total yards in the game, 2nd and 8. Brees throws, and he's picked by Devin White. Another turnover, and White picks his way down the sideline. Brady's going to take it. Touchdown.
Get somebody down the middle or up the sideline.
Brees able to step into this one. This one's up for grabs and picked.